Alright. So, rain pours down from the morning sky as you make your way through this very dense, wet marshland known as Bramble Marsh. As you move away from what has basically been the more civilized portion of the marsh, where you've seen a couple of homes on stilts, similar to the one that you stayed at the night before, you start to notice that there are these thick tangles of these thorny vines, big, thick, rope-like vines with these long, curved thorns on them. These are the brambles that the marsh is known for. Thick, deadly-looking bramble thorns that just kind of engulf and entangle all of the various trees and everything all around. In the watery portions of it, basically where you are plowing along with the boat, as Liam just kind of pushes the boat deftly through these areas, it stays relatively clear. The brambles don't grow in the water themselves, but you see that they grow up into the limbs and the trees up above, creating this kind of a sharp, protruding cage kind of all around you. Some places it kind of presses in really close, and Liam carefully steers through it, but he warns to not get too close to the edge of the boat because the brambles themselves are very, very sharp. The older the brambles, the thicker they become, until you see that some of them are a good 8 inches in diameter, just these big, thick vines with almost 12-inch long, curved, very sharp-looking thorns on them. They kind of curve out, and they're kind of they go from kind of the older ones from kind of a pale gray to a deep, dark black on the tips of them. Whereas the younger thorn, or the younger brambles, tend to still be that kind of a greenish color. They haven't quite darkened and died out yet. So you see some that are like what you would normally expect to see, say, for blackberry vines or something along those lines. But they get to be very, very thick and big. Liam pushes the boat through using his pole, taking some of the broader waterways where it's easier, the water is deep enough for the boat to traverse fairly easily, while his sister plays way up in the front of the boat, up in the bow, playing with her doll and kind of singing to herself, and kind of keeps to herself in general. As you're watching, you hear strange animals kind of in the shadowy darkness that kind of, because the way the brambles and everything grow up into trees, it blocks out a lot of the sunlight in some of the various reaches in here, with only light kind of coming into the waterways themselves. So most of the islands are kind of dark and shadowy. Every once in a while you'll see some sort of shape move through the brush and everything, but nothing clear enough that you can make out what kind of specific animal it might be. If you ask Liam, he'll let you know that there are boars and other large mammals and stuff that live on some of the islands, but there are also other darker, more dangerous creatures that you can find, that you will encounter as you get further and further into the marsh itself, and further from the main road and the city of Bramble Marsh. As you get closer and closer to the white jutting rock that is known as Rock Island, you can see the tower sitting up at the top of it. It kind of, as the rock kind of rises up above the marsh itself, just this kind of an odd gleaming white on the backdrop of the dark gray clouds and the deep kind of gray-green of the marsh itself. You got a question?
Would this swamp have alligators or crocodiles?
No, it's a little bit too cold for those particular breeds of creatures, but there are definitely creatures in the water that are dangerous.
Okay. And I'll ask Liam, so these brambles that we're fighting through, is that where you get the roots?
Yeah, if you find the right ones, you get some nice, not too young, but you don't want the old gnarled ones because they become bitter but you don't want them too young because you want them to have some heft to them. You know, you don't want it like a tiny little string of root. But yes, this is what we get. During the late spring, early summer, we get brambleberries.
How big do those get?
Look like a good-sized plum. They're pretty big.
So
they taste kind of like a mix between apple and cherry.
I'll have to come back when they're in season.
Pretty tasty. They're fairly popular. As far as I know, they only grow here, so.
I'm gonna start looking through my bag for like a torch or something. I don't think I have one, but I don't want to be relying just on spells when we get to the tower.
Okay. At this point, you move into an area where you get a nice clear view of the island that you're headed towards, this big rock that seems to be resting in the middle of the marsh. And you see this large open, almost like a lake, not like a large lake, but a decent sized lake, several hundred yards across in either direction. And the water looks fairly deep, and it's probably the clearest water you've seen since moving through the marsh itself. And you notice Liam quickly begins to push the boat through this area. You just kind of pushing the boat along. If you kind of trying to stay relatively close to the edge and not moving out into the middle of the lake where you would figure it'd be easiest to move through the area. But he just seems to be in a very big hurry, a rush to get through this spot. Give me perception checks.
Yeah, there must be something dangerous underneath the water here. Nope.
24.
6.
19.
14.
Get that in.
Oh yeah, turn that on.
I was just thinking,
Which
it's dark
one?
in here. Yeah. There we
There we
go.
go.
Much better.
19.
Perception
All right,
by
basically anybody that got above a 10. So
So you add.
so not Ian.
He has a 0.
You just notice some like off in the towards the center of this lake, maybe 40, 50 feet away. You notice some bubbles that kind of start to kind of bubble up near the surface, and then you see what looks to be like a large grayish brown rock that just kind of seems to pop up into the surface, and you're like, why would a rock be floating? And then you notice that it kind of has these regular pattern to it of these kind of long spiky bits that kind of stick off the back, and you realize that it is a turtle shell, approximately 10 feet in diameter, that is just kind of breaches the water. Head poke up out of the water, the size of a cask of ale, a large cask, and you see it's got this long hook-shaped snout and these deep gold eyes, and it just kind of looks at you and snorts, and you see steam rise up from its nostrils as it just kind of looks in your general direction. Liam yells out to you, somebody with a few spare coins, please make an offering.
I will.
I'm gonna cast a mage on it.
How many? Just. I grab a couple of my gold coins and I throw them into the water.
Okay, you throw in how many?
I'll say 4.
4. Throw in 4 gold coins, and you see the turtle just kind of like turns as he sees you throw the coins in and makes eye contact with you. And there's a deep rumbling, and you see the water kind of vibrate and like little droplets all around the shell as it vibrates deep in its chest. And at first you're not certain as to what it is, and then you realize that it's a chuckling, as though it's kind of laughing. Who here speaks Draconic? The rest, all of you hear this, and you hear, I shall take this pathetic offering, but do not pass through here again uninvited. And you see the turtle sink back underneath the lake.
That was enough for a
disappearing into
one-time
water.
pass. We should get in and get out, and then never come to the swamp again.
But soon, Liam has pushed the boat down yet another little corridor of thin green water that kind of goes between the various islands covered in the various brambled thorns and twisted, gnarled trees and hanging moss, and comes to a shore. You see rising up before you, just a mere couple of 100 yards away at this point, is a gleaming white stone cliff face that goes up about 50 feet, at the top of which you see a gray tower kind of looming over the edge. Dangling from the top, you see just hundreds of these gnarled and twisted vines kind of like come down and just kind of cover the cliff face, leaving these like thick rope-like vines that kind of cover it. You see a path that goes up off to one side, leading kind of along the edge of the cliff, going ever higher, that you would assume probably takes you around to the top of this large rock. Liam pushes forward and brings the boat to rest on a sandy, kind of pebble-strewn beach at the base of this large rock.
Are there any vines on the beach?
They kind of dangle down onto the beach. There are a couple of like gnarled trees, some ferns, basically all of the things you would expect to see in a marsh.
While we put this out, can we take a quick break?
Sure. Okay.
Continue.
All right. So before we took our break, you guys had just arrived on this beach. Off to this side, to your left, you see that there's this cliff face that goes up. It's that white stone, kind of gleaming underneath all the various vines and everything that hang down off the edge of this. As you look up, it seems to come down from right around the tower itself. You remember the stories that you heard about the woman that lived there and her husband, and she was a bit of a botanist. So you can assume that whatever she was growing up there, without her careful care and consideration, has kind of gone wild and rampant and is kind of growing just pretty much wherever. You see a few trees, you see a deep dark pool and some ferns and everything, and directly off in front of you, you see a path that kind of winds its way up the side of the stone. It is now at about,
I think she said it was 30 feet.
roughly noon. It took you about half the day to get to this point.
But the weather's gross, so it's darker than normal.
Yeah, it is a little bit darker. Well, it's darker. It's fairly normal for this area, especially this time of year.
And what is Liam doing?
Liam goes over and he ties off the boat to the tree here, and his sister kind of hops out and kind of walking along the beach area here, and she picks up a rock and kind of throws it into the pool and is just kind of playing.
It's not a good idea.
They're probably used to it.
What are you doing?
I'm gonna assess the cliff and see what. I mean, it's 30 feet up.
50.
50. Okay, so there's no. I was just kind of seeing if we could jump it or climb up, but everything is full of thorns, so it's not.
Those are not thorn vines.
Those are not thorn vines.
No, they are just and they're very vibrant and green for the most part. There are a few older vines that are underneath that are like the dead gray, brittle type of vine, but they're all about an inch in diameter, fairly thick green with like little leaves and stuff on them. A couple of little flowers, yellow and red for the most part. It's got 5 petals and on the flowers, and it's primarily yellow with like a little strip of red that kind of goes down the middle of it, with the stamens and stuff that come out of the middle are kind of a reddish orange color.
I'm gonna go over to some of the vines then and kind of give them like a tug, just to see if they're strong, because it looks fun to climb.
Okay.
But, not that I'm planning.
Looks
on
like it would be
but
a relatively reasonable. If you didn't want to walk the path, you could probably climb the vines.
I'm just not sure everyone else's acrobatics and ability to do that as I'm looking around. Like,
Liam, are those poisonous?
What are you doing? Liam looks at it and is like, I have no idea. They're not native to this area. I don't come here. This place is dangerous.
I'm just gonna come over and look at the water's edge, kind of.
So you move over towards the edge of the water and looking at pool of water here. Looking at that, you would think that it's because the center of it is so dark that it is very much deeper there than in most of the other areas that you've seen, except for maybe in the little bit more open lake area that you passed through on the way here.
Is the water like marshy like the other areas, or is it actually kind of clear in this area?
It's actually it's kind of murky. There's a little bit of like the green algae that's kind of along the edges of it. But if you watch it long enough, a little bit of the leaves and stuff that are floating on it, it has a very steady kind of like swirl to it. So the water has movement. It has like a little eddy to it that kind of just goes around in a circle.
So it's not bathtubing, it's just moving.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's what you're doing. All right.
Uh,
Callista, what are you currently doing?
I'm gonna look over and see if I can assess what kind of flowers those are. Would that be a nature check or?
Yeah. So you're going over where Kara is at, or are you going to pick another section?
It's She-Devil and Punchy Punch.
Oh, sorry, my bad.
Yes, where Punchy Punch is at.
All right, so you're just going to go over by Punchy Punch. All right, so you go over there and you're kind of looking at these flowers. Make a nature check.
11.
No, you've never seen or heard of flowers like this. They're definitely a brighter color than any of the foliage that you've seen in the marsh thus far. You have no idea what the flowers on the brambles look like during the spring or whatever. But since this is late summer, like going into basically the colder time of fall and everything for this area, the fact that there are flowers here at all is,
Odd.
yeah, it's a little odd, kind of unusual. But they're very, very sweet and fragrant.
I don't trust them.
So basically, do we know where the tower is from us? Is it up the cliff?
Yeah, it is directly above you here. It's literally right. The rock itself is kind of wedge shaped. The lower end of it is on that side. So if you follow that path around, you basically go to the lower side of the wedge, and it just kind of wedges its way up to kind of a relatively level area up here.
Okay.
And the tower is literally at the apex of this wedge.
I'm basically going to move up, not too far ahead of the party, but just assess the path and just keep an eye out for anything while we're getting ready to
All right, give
set
me a
out.
perception check. Since you are attempting to keep an eye out.
6.
Okay. You're kind of looking around and you notice that your quick assessment says that this path doesn't get used very much. There's definitely a fairly thick coating of like deadfall, leaves and some smaller branches and stuff that have fallen out of trees and stuff like that. Nothing that would make the path intraversable, not untraversable. Yes, untraversable. But it definitely shows that it's not used.
Because it's kind of got that wet, gross, like
Yeah.
decaying leaf, so it's gonna.
Yeah,
be
and there's a bit of a rock off to the other side, so that the path kind of sits in kind of like a little bit of a, not really, kind of a ravine almost. I mean, it gets as the path goes on, the sides get lower and lower and lower. But at this point, it's kind of high on either side, so all of the rain water and everything kind of washes everything into this area, and it kind of creates a gross, damp mess of decaying like plant matter and everything.
I'm gonna
Callistay.
Fizzy Whizbang. I'm gonna move further into the inlandish. I don't want to be by the edges of the water. F that noise. Looking at the ground, what kind of ground is it? Is it gravel or sand?
It's kind of mostly just dirt.
It's mucky?
Kind of mucky. There is a bit of gravel and stuff here because it is like the rocks that have basically worn and crumbled off of this large stone, because it looks like this entire thing is one large chunk of stone that's basically in the marsh.
Okay. Are there any prints? Are there any signs? Maybe the dragon turtle comes on shore.
Do you have survival?
I don't. 3.
3?
The natural one.
Looking around,
swamp.
Yeah, you have no idea. It's you are accustomed to being in a marsh, but this marsh really doesn't fit the type of warm, subtropical swamp that you're from.
We haven't seen any snakes, so yeah.
Yeah, so it's a little bit different. It is kind of gravelly here. One thing you do notice, regardless of anything else, because you asked about the rock and stuff, the gravel and everything, it is mostly white gravel. You haven't seen any other large white stones anywhere in the marsh. As you basically paddled your way here, thanks to Liam's
Buffness.
buffness and seamanship, you haven't seen any other signs of big white stones like this. Any of the stone that you've seen is like stonework and stuff. As far as like Bramble Marsh itself goes, the town, it's all been mostly like the general grayish, deep gray slate kind of stones.
Okay.
For like their fireplaces and stuff like that. So this particular large chunk of stone is kind of unusual, just based off of what you've seen thus far.
All right. I want to find a chunk of it, like size of like half my fist.
All right. You pick up a chunk of rock. It's easy enough to find. You kind of dust it off because it's got like bits of decaying like moss and leaves and stuff on it. Everybody, give me it's dexterity saving throws.
I don't want.
Except for you. You're standing over by the water. Or at least you were until somebody
Sorry.
slammed it.
Him too? From all the way over now?
Yeah, he's
I'm
close
next to the
enough.
cliff. That's why.
Alright, what'd you get?
23.
Okay. Yep.
16.
16.
11.
11.
16.
16. And I need to do for the girl. Alright. What did you get?
11.
11. Alright, so you, as you're saying there, all of a sudden you feel something strange kind of catch you off guard. You feel something wrap around your ankle on the cliffside. You look down, you see one of the vines just kind of up your leg, and it jerks you and drags you over to the cliff face and starts sliding you up the side of the cliff. Meanwhile, the rest of you guys all see the kind of notice these vines suddenly kind of moving at you, and you kind of hop back and avoid being entangled by these various vines. You also see poor little Tess. This vine comes up and just like all the way around her body and across her mouth and everything, yank her off her feet and start dragging her up the side of this cliff towards the tower.
How fast are they being dragged up there?
20 feet around. So she's already up 20 feet and he's already up 20 feet.
Grappling hook.
So, initiative.
Can you get a marker for Tess?
Can you, just that one. Just kind of put it halfway. Yeah.
Same with Lou.
Because she's just kind of playing next to the
I'm
water's
just.
edge. And for Liam, because he's kind of set here.
So she hasn't gone up the cliff yet.
She has gone up the cliff. She's 20 feet up.
Do you want to move the marker into the cliff face, or?
No, because that's where she's at. She's just
20
elevated.
feet. I don't have a thing. But anyway, we were doing initiatives.
13.
Okay.
No.
All right.
We start here. Okay. We start here is how I wrote the shit down.
All right. Let's get it going then.
Okay.
You can write
Lou.
it out of order. 19.
She devil.
4.
4. Windsuit.
12.
Punchy punch. Bad guy.
4. And just
a
for
popular
shits
number.
and giggles, 4 for the little girl, and we'll just say that the Liam and Tess got at the same
Oh,
time.
come
on
on. I
4.
wanted to see if, and that was the black family, yeah?
Yeah.
Everybody went on freaking 4. Except for Lou, who's going on a 19.
So I'm
All right,
first.
Lou. You can make a strength check to try to get free. You can try a weapon attack to try to cut the vine. What do you want to do? Of course, you could also do a acrobatics to try to slip the grasp. So athletics, acrobatics, or a weapon attack. pretty much. Or you could just go with it and get drugged up the side of the cliff.
I think I want to try and cut it with the weapon. So I pull Light Sworn out.
Okay.
All of a sudden, a light shines out from me.
Alright. So a brilliant golden glow comes out as he pulls out his blade, slices at the vine at his ankles.
Let's see if I can actually do something with that. 15?
Yeah, you hit easily. Roll damage. And since it's slashing, just tell me what it is doubled.
16.
16? Alright, so you're like, and you just cut clean through the vines that's got a hold of you. And give me a dexterity saving throw. To see if you right yourself or you land on your head.
I land on my head.
It's 20 feet, so it's only 2d6. 5 points of bludgeoning damage as you basically kind of land on your head and shoulders there. You basically kind of try to curl up, so you just kind of land hard on like this part of your back.
Yeah.
And you're just kind of not really stunned. You can still kind of spend part of your movement to get up if you want.
Yeah.
But yeah, you are now on the ground.
So I will stand up, and I still have half my movement left.
Yes.
I don't know if there's not much I'm going to be able to do, but I'm going to...
The further away you get from it might be helpful.
Well, also...
Tess is up there.
Yeah.
I understand that, but I need this box. So you're moving towards Tess.
Yep.
Bring.
That's my turn.
Okay, Wensu.
From whence you came.
Use it again for now if you want. What you doing?
Wait, it's not Wensu, it's Kara.
Yeah.
You marked her off for some reason.
Punchy punch?
Yeah.
13.
Oh, okay. Well, you go. You think about what you want to do.
Alright, Kara, what are you doing?
You want to punch it?
I kind of want to grappling hook at it and then like crawl up there and try and go up there and get her out, but I don't have any sharp. I only have my
Well, you
fists.
can climb the vines.
Yeah, but what am I going to do when I get up there? Punch it off
you-
her and
Oh,
punch her?
I just pull it.
Reverse grapple.
Well, it would basically wind up being a strength check for you if you wanted to attempt to do that. Or you can hold your action and hope for the best.
The strength
But-
isn't bad.
It's what you want to do.
I'm going to do it. 'Cause
Alright.
I was looking at the vines earlier and I could easily climb those.
Alright, so what is your movement?
40.
Alright, so you can climb 20 feet,
Okay.
which means you can get right up to where she is.
Alright, so we'll do that.
Alright, so give me an... I'll say acrobatics for this because there's enough vines and stuff there that strength really doesn't play too big of a role in trying to climb up it.
9.
Alright, so yeah, you're climbing up there and you kind of get tangled up a little bit, so you don't quite make it to her. You're about 5 feet underneath her.
I don't think I have anything that I can use.
Okay. So we'll just have you hold your action for now then. Wensu, have you figured out what you're doing?
I think. So I can only climb up 15 feet, right?
Yeah, half of whatever your movement is.
30.
And that's from your current location, so it's like 15 feet just to get to the...
Yeah. I'll just hold my action. There's nothing that I can do.
Do you want to
who's
move at
next?
all? Because if you...
You want to move? Because you
Because-
can't hold movement.
Yeah, that's right. I'll just move closer. So.
Okay.
Over here.
Who's next?
Keep
Me, Callista, bad guys, and the Black family. Simultaneous.
Alright.
I know what I want to do.
So, what are you doing?
I'm going to cast Acid Splash at the vines about a foot or two above Tess.
And what's your range?
It's a 60-foot range.
Alright, so
I think it's actually 80.
you're in range. Roll the attack.
Oh, actually, I don't think I rolled a hit. It's a DC 13
Okay, so-
dex.
Alright. Yeah, it doesn't seem to have much of an impact. Some of the vines around it kind of sizzle and everything, but it doesn't seem to have any impact. What are you doing?
I'm gonna cast Firebolt.
Alright, what are you doing then? Because
I was going to use my movement to pass her a knife.
Alright, she's about 15 feet above you.
Would I need to make a roll to pass it to her?
You would either have to climb up there or throw it at her.
And
I'm
use
going
your
to climb
action.
up there.
Alright. So, what's your movement?
My movement is, my speed is 30, so I can move 15 feet. She's
Yeah.
15 feet above me.
Alright,
So I'll pass you a dagger.
Technically, I could catch a ranged weapon.
Yeah, but it's
I have that ability.
but that's a roll to see how much damage you don't take, and you hope that you
okay.
actually
I was
only.
like, I could catch that.
So
Okay.
give me the acrobatics check.
I got it.
That's 5. Alright, 7.
7. Yeah, you only make it up about 5 feet before you kind of get tangled up in it, so you don't pass her a
It
dagger.
was a good try, though. I appreciate
I'm
the
gonna
gesture.
cast Firebolt, and it's 120 feet range. So.
All right, roll to hit.
Yes. It says on a hit, so I assume roll to hit.
Yep.
Yep.
I didn't know. Oh. No. Okay. 16.
16. All right, you hit.
Alright.
Do damage.
And 1d10, which is this one.
Yeah.
All right, so it's like, psh, but it's so damp and everything here that as soon as it hits, it just kind of, you hear this like, psh, you see like a little bit of steam come off, and you see a little scorched area, but it doesn't actually drop her. It was after that. You said it was bad
It was
guys
pretty
and
much
blacks at
everybody
the same time?
Yeah.
All right, that shrub over there suddenly kind of lifts up off the ground. It kind of towers up about 10 feet in height. These long tendril-like armed vines kind of come out from its side, and you see this face kind of form out of the twisting, like, blackened vines and everything. It just seems this grotesque humanoid face. And it just kind of silently lumbers 20 feet closer to the party. Meanwhile, Liam decides that he's going to attempt to climb up there to catch his sister. His climb is better than your guys's, sadly enough, and he just kind of like, but unfortunately he's not fast enough to get all the way up there. But he gets up to about the 15 feet and kind of reaches up for just as Tess. Let's see if she can make a strength. Nope. And she kind of struggles to get out and is just kind of drug another 20 feet higher into the air. She's only about 10 feet at this point away from the edge of the cliff face and basically up on top.
So I held my action. How feasible would it be for me to use my grappling hook to hook onto the top up there and start pulling myself up next time around to kind of take her?
So you
climb up
use your
and
action
get
to
her-
throw the hook?
Yeah.
You could use your action to throw the hook, but honestly, you're not going to have any easier time using a rope than the vines themselves.
I was just thinking for leverage, if I pull on the rope up there, away from what the vines are, and kind of like lift
Or you want to
myself-
try to like hook the vine that's got her?
No, just like just up on the cliff face, or up on the cliff edge, so I can like climb out of what's holding me, kind of. Like
Okay.
use my strength to pull myself out of what's wrapped around me,
Okay.
if possible.
All right.
And
So
catch up
give
to her.
me a basically it's
Would be strength.
an athletics check.
Athletics. 23.
Yeah, you toss it up there. You basically up, and it arcs up and catches the edge of the cliff face. Basically, the cliff up disappears up there. You can't quite see what it has hooked onto, but it definitely feels as though it is attached to something very, very solid.
Okay. So I'll just kind of brace myself in it and wait for being able to pull myself up.
Okay, who's next, Bree?
It's a dish to fifth, making sure everybody's gone. So I went Lou, She Devil went to Punchy Punch, and Bad Guys in the Black Family. Did you want to do anything with your held action?
Honestly, I don't think there's anything you
Then I
can
can
really
I don't have
do.
any
Okay.
range weapons.
Then yeah, it's just initiative. Where the fuck were you? Okay, Lou.
11.
Callista.
4.
Wensu.
9.
Kara.
7.
Bad Eyes.
Bad guys are on 16.
And the Black Family.
9, 10, 11. Sorry. Math is
Math
hard.
is hard. Okay. I go first. Is this a situation where would webs slow them down?
No.
No? Okay. I was hoping to
It
tangle
would
up the
slow them
webs.
down, but it wouldn't really help. Wouldn't affect the vines at all.
Okay, then I'm just gonna try. She's within 60 feet still, so I'm gonna try and cast Acid Splash at the vines again.
Okay.
Again, aiming slightly above her. So, DC 13 reflex save.
Right on.
Then I'm gonna try and start working my way towards the ground because I'm not good at this whole dangling thing, movement wise.
You going back down?
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you
You won't need to really roll to go back down.
Well, I was hoping not to fall.
Okay, you don't really have to roll to go back down.
You're only 5 feet up. You could drop basically.
Alright, who's next?
Bad guys.
I have a question. On the save, if you get on the number, then it's just you make it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Alright, so the strange vine humanoid moves 20 more feet towards its closest target
Yep.
and will attack the paladin as it moves closer, hitting an armor class of...
As long as it has a +1, it hit me.
Yeah, it's going to hit you. Alright, so... 2d6. For 12 points of bludgeoning damage. And then it uses its other arm and it lashes out. You're on the ground, right?
Yeah.
Alright, so it lashes out at you.
I'm going to pop out my shield and give it disadvantage on this attack. Since I'm assuming I'm right next to it, it's like a ranged kind of thing.
Yeah, so yeah, I think it's still gonna hit 16 plus 7, so 23.
Wait, did I?
+7. Jeez.
Oh, hitting armor class of 23? Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I did.
Yeah. All right,
I was
so
gonna say, what are you?
Right, yeah.
No, with
Four.
the hit points.
No, you'd be healed.
for
Oh,
15
okay.
points of bludgeoning damage, as it just lashes out like a whip and just like strikes you across the body.
Here.
Meanwhile, whoa.
Just
It's
don't
singing
look at
to
it.
you.
Just ignore it. Just let it happen.
Meanwhile, the vines pull the girl up over the edge of the cliff, and she disappears from sight. Who's next?
Let's see. If the bad guys went, that makes it the Black Family and Lou simultaneous.
So he's going to try to climb up, but this time he just winds up getting entangled into the vines and winds up falling backwards, and it's just kind of hanging there.
All
And
right.
who? Lou?
Me. Oh. I'm going to swing at the creature.
Okay.
So, 16.
Hit.
I'm going to expend a spell slot to deal an extra 2d8 radiant damage.
Okay.
Is it considered a fiend at all?
No.
Okay.
It our plant.
So, 9, 13, 19 points total.
So you lash out at it with your sword and channel some of the divine energy that gives you your power into it, and it just kind of burns across its vine-like flesh. You see like kind of like greenish sap kind of ooze out of the wound, but it just continues on silently, not making any kind of animal-like growls or noises, just the strange creaking groaning of the vines and everything kind of rubbing against themselves as it moves.
Wensu.
No.
You see your friend Lou being attacked by this strange, shambling marsh plant creature. And you saw that it seems to have quite the reach as it lashed out at the tiefling sorceress as well. So what are you doing?
I can't get close enough to this.
You could stay next to him.
No, I can go to there. So I can get to here.
30,
Yeah. But that does put you closer, because if you don't move this time, you're not any closer next time.
Yeah. Oh.
And if you have anything you could throw, you could still throw a dagger or something at it.
I guess I didn't. I thought I picked up a throwing knife or a couple throwing knives, but I don't. I don't see it on my list. So.
I have
Okay.
daggers if you want.
So do you, yeah, any other? Do you want to use your cunning action to dash and attack?
That's right. Yeah. That. Can I do that through him? That's
You,
the problem.
yeah, because it only would have. Well, you could either move to one side or the other. The cliff side is obviously off limits, but you could be ankle deep in the water if you wanted.
I'll step in there. Hopefully, I don't fall in.
or get eaten by something.
So I can. There.
Okay, so make your attack roll. Your friend is in base contact with it, so you do get your sneak attack.
9 plus
15.
so 15.
Hit.
Yep, you have sneak attack.
Are you using a short sword or a dagger?
Dagger.
Oh, okay.
Plus so 8 plus 4 more, so that's
9.
8. No,
No, 8 plus 4, so
12.
12.
12
Oh.
then, total.
Okay, so. Alright. Who's next?
After after Lou, that guy's Wensu went, so now it's Kara's turn.
Alright, Kara.
So what do I need to roll to basically start climbing up my rope and following the girl still? Because I'm
Athletics.
I'm this point closer to the top than the
Well,
bottom.
you're 15 feet up,
Mm-hmm.
so, and it's 50 feet, so you still have 35 feet to go. So technically, you're closer to the ground than you are to the top.
And they're being attacked.
Yeah.
I have a really weird idea. So like at this point, could I like hold on to my rope? Are my legs tangled up by this stuff? Okay. If I held onto my rope and the grappling hook and I kind of started running this way along the cliff face, I'm like, I'm a monk.
She's a monk.
I'm a fucking
If anyone's
ninja.
gonna pull
Okay?
off.
Basically, you want to go across and then drop down
Like
on the
a
other side.
pendulum over here and drop down back
Spotty
here
thing in the
and
face.
just start fucking punching
Give
him.
me an acrobatics check, and yeah, I would totally allow it.
He's so badass.
If you pull it off.
Actually tumbles down on top of him.
Starts running and
Yeah.
So this would be
fuck
acrobatics.
Yeah. 24.
All right. Yeah. So you kind of grab hold of it, wrap the rope around your arm, and just kind of lean out and run along the edge. And as you get to the other end, you let go of the rope and kind of do this like little ragdoll backflip and land on the other side of it and
Like
lash
down
out
in
with your
position,
attacks.
like yes.
Superhero landing.
Fucking
Hard on the
ninja.
knees.
Alright, kick its ass.
Right. So
go punchy punch.
yes, let's go punchy punch. 17.
That is a hit.
Okay, so 1d4. So 10.
10.
But
Okay.
then I get to take my second attack.
Yeah. If you want, you can because you unless you
Spend
want
a key
to.
point.
Yeah. But you only get so many of those a day, so
Yeah.
it's up to you.
No, I'm gonna hold on to him.
Okay. So just do your regular attack.
Early on in the day. Yeah. Yeah. So 10.
Well, you still get your other offhand
my other-
attack.
okay.
Well, not offhand, but your free
20
attack. 20? Yeah, that hits.
for 7 points.
7 more. Okay. All right. After Kara,
It's Callista. That one.
all right, Callista.
I'm going to cast. I just had it, Ray of Frost,
Okay.
and I believe. Why am I going so?
What are you casting Ray of Frost at?
The
Alright. So roll to hit.
1.
Natural one.
Natural one. So you're just like, psh, and here, where we're at.
Uh-oh.
Alright. You just, it doesn't do any damage, but you just feel a sudden random bit of coldness. What? Odd even, Bree.
No, I get that, but the 6 is marked with an underscore on a 6-sided dice.
Well, regardless, you're interrupting. You feel this bit of chill right on your butt. You're just like this, like really cold, icy cold on your right butt cheek. All of a sudden, just like, oh,
Why were
it
you
kind of
looking
stings
there?
a little bit. Meanwhile,
Callista has done its initiative.
all right.
Now, okay, that's cool.
Blue.
14.
Callista.
2.
22. Wensu.
7.
Kara.
12.
Bug Eyes.
16.
Black Family.
6.
Nice. Callista.
All right, Callista. You missed with your Ray of Frost, accidentally zapping a nearby companion. Not doing any damage, just kind of mostly comical more than anything else. What are you doing this time? You moving into base contact?
Yes.
Alright.
And then I'm gonna use my dagger.
Alright. So roll to hit.
And it's the 17 plus
Yep.
this?
Yep.
Okay.
So you hit.
Yes. I guess.
21.
D4 plus your dexterity modifier, because I'm assuming that's higher than your strength.
Should be D4 plus. I don't know where you got the plus
Music
4 from.
Oh.
3.
3 more points of damage. Alright. Alright, so you lash out and you see little bits of this like green sap kind of ooze out of the creature. And you can just catch a whiff of this like foul stench that kind of exudes from the kind of the rotting matter, plant matter and everything that's around. Kind of like a walking compost heap.
Yummy. Bad guys.
You can't all
Alright.
be ninjas. It's okay.
So at this point, the creature is going to lash out at the paladin with one of its whip-like arms, hitting an AC of 14.
Miss.
And with the other arm, it's going to turn and kind of slam or attempt to slam the monk, since you hit it fairly hard.
I cannot
It's
interject
going to
my
hit an
shield.
AC of 11.
Nope.
So it's just kind of like whoosh off of your shield, kind of turns and like over your head as you kind of duck underneath the attack, bringing it to.
Blue's turn.
Well, and again, I'm just gonna slash at it with my sword. 10.
All right, so you slash out, and the blade kind of hits into the vines and everything, just not with enough force to actually like cut it or anything like that. It just kind of winds up getting a little entangled, and you yank the blade free
Kara's turn.
I'm gonna punch him.
as the monk.
First hand, I was gonna miss. An 8. Second hand, 19.
19 hits.
No, that's the wrong. I rolled the wrong one last time. I rolled a d6. I rolled a d4 for damage.
So we'll just go with it.
Alright. My bad. 7.
7.
That was your bonus for your cool move.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was.
All right, so
Awesome.
you throw your
Awesome
first
bonus.
punch and it just kind of impacts, but doesn't, just kind of sinks into the mush and everything without any real effect. But you bring an elbow across and you snap some of the various vines and twigs and stuff that kind of compose this creature's body, and you see more of this like black and green ichor kind of ooze out of it. It's very sticky and pungent. Who's next?
Wensu and Thea Simo.
All right, Winsu.
Attack it again.
All right.
That was
24.
24, yeah.
Hit.
Is it d4 1? Oh,
No.
that would have sucked.
Yeah.
10.
10.
Both his.
My or both 6 or 1s.
Yeah.
All right, so you plunge your dagger into it and you sink deep into it. Your hand kind of disappears into the muck and you kind of yank it out, and there's like this spray of goo from inside, and the creature just kind of silently like writhes and kind of turns its head, just kind of creaks and turns and looks at you with deep hollow eye sockets.
Liam, is he tangled up in the vine that's actually a monster, or is he just tangled up in regular vines?
Regular vines.
Okay.
Who's next?
It's
you.
That's why I'm asking.
Okay.
I'm gonna climb up the cliff to where he's at, try and help him get untangled.
Okay.
So that's.
So he's only up to like 15 feet. So
Okay. Well, I don't know if I'm gonna make it that far.
let's find out.
18.
Yeah. So you're just like right up even to where he's at. And like I said, he's kind of hanging backwards. His legs and everything are just kind of tangled up in the various vines and everything.
Pull out my dagger and can I use my action basically to help start cutting him loose so he can keep climbing?
Yeah.
Okay, that's my plan. Then it's the Black family's turn.
All right. So you cut part of his leg loose and everything. So he's going to attempt to get untangled. He's going to have advantage because of your help. Yeah. Okay. So he kind of rights himself and he kind of looks up. He's like, kind of looks back over towards the path, and he just kind of drops back down to the ground, and kind of starts moving in that general direction.
Okay.
But first, he moves over towards the boat.
Okay, it's initiative.
Okay. Damn.
Lou,
9.
Callista,
9.
Wensu,
7.
Kara,
8.
bad guys,
19,
and the Black fam.
18.
All of us are like,
Okay, bad guys first.
All right. So the creature, as it kind of looks, its head kind of turns towards you. Give me a will save. Oh, sorry, wisdom saving throw.
Not better. 5.
Okay, that's bad enough. All right, so it kind of looks at you, and that deep shadows just kind of suddenly you just begin to tremble, and you feel paralyzed with fear. You just kind of stand there, and you're just looking at this deep. It just something about it just seems to just emanate this feeling of death and just sheer terror deep inside you, and you just can't seem to react. Meanwhile, it is going to try to slam you and you again. This time, yeah, it's going to hit you with its one attack for 14 points of bludgeoning damage, and then again at you, 17.
that is my only class.
All right, so 4, 6 plus 4, so 10 points of bludgeoning damage.
If that's all the bad guys, it's Liam's turn.
All right, Liam moves over to the boat, and you see him kind of throw back a tarp, grab a bow, a quiver, throw that over his shoulder, and he kind of turns, pulls an arrow, and he's like at the creature that you guys are fighting. But he's only going to hit an AC of 8, plus 3, so 6, and he just kind of hits some vines off behind the creature as he grabs another arrow and gets ready for next round. Who's next?
Everybody's so low, it's hard to tell. Lou and Callista are Simon.
All right, Lou.
I'm
You-
gonna. Oh,
Oh, sorry. I don't
Yeah.
know why.
Winsu.
Winsu, Lou. It's completely the same.
yeah,
I'm scared shitless right now.
Yeah, because Callista
I could
and
do
Callista are fine, but Winsu and Lou can't have it.
I'm going to attack
It's because we're buddies.
26.
That hits.
Yeah. I'm not going to expend a spell slot this time. 11 points of slashing. Oh, doubled. 22.
All right.
My double.
Oh, is it doubled?
Yeah.
Slashing? Yeah.
Oh no, that's only
No,
against
just
the
for that.
vines.
Sorry, so just 11. Yeah. Sorry.
You're like, what am I missing out on? What can I do?
Oh, all right. So you cut deep into it. You see like some of the more of the stuff kind of from the inside, and you see bits of it kind of like fall away and off to the ground. But it seems to just kind of be. It's still on its feet, but you can tell that it is. It is
Really close.
it is really close to defeat, but it doesn't seem to give up. It just seems to act on primal instinct to attack.
Alright.
Callista?
I'm gonna shank it.
All right, try to shank it.
I
You're
didn't
not
shank
gonna
it.
All right, so you thrust at it and you just you can't quite cause it any kind of harm, while the monk.
Just ready to punch things. Miss with first hand. 11 misses again.
Yeah. So punch, and it's soft skin, just kind of, it's brambles and everything, the vines and everything you make up. It just seems to be soaking the punches, and you're like, you can't seem to land a good solid hit.
Your turn.
This round you don't get to do
You are
anything.
paralyzed.
Okay.
Initiative?
You can move, but you can't attack.
Yeah, I'm dead last, but I still get to go.
You can move away from it,
1,
though, if you
2,
choose.
3, 4, 5, and I'm gonna cast Acid Splash at it. So DC 13 reflex save. Nice.
Nope.
4 points of damage. Suck it.
All right.
It's better than I did. I missed
So the acid kind of
Like
hits
one
it and
hit
just
point
kind of
left.
sizzles and kind of burns
Really
away
hurts those
parts of the
open
vines and everything, and it just kind of silently writhes, and its head turns
Oh,
and
man.
faces you.
Somebody kill it. Lou,
14.
Callista,
15.
Wensu, Kara,
17.
guys,
18.
I should be playing craps apparently.
and 3 sevens in a row.
Three
The
sevens
Liam,
Liam, 20.
the Liam,
Liam.
kill it.
All right. So Liam will shoot another arrow at it. He will hit this time. So longbow. So, and does 8 points of piercing damage as the arrow kind of sinks into it, and the creature just goes from looking at you and kind of turns its head to look at Liam. You can see bits of its body kind of peeling away as it's beginning to lose its ability to kind of hold itself together.
Now it's its turn.
All right. So it glares at Liam. Liam will have to. Oh, he will make a saving throw. He is determined. He just stares it down as the creature tries to impose its terror attack on him, and he's just like, oh. Meanwhile, he is going to press the attack. He's going to try to hit you and you again, because you guys have been. Actually, you didn't do quite as much this time. We'll go towards you,
It's nice knowing you guys.
since you didn't act at all.
Which one are you doing first?
You.
Okay.
Great. now I get
19?
40 seconds.
That'll hit.
I'm done.
He did.
7, 11.
I'm down.
Okay.
Oh, you had one
But
job.
you're the healer. And then against you. No, he's not going to hit you. Unless an 11 hits you.
Close, but no.
Okay.
Oh, wait,
it's
I
like,
cast made
it's
it.
like, "Schwack!"
15.
And you see Lou throw up his shield, but it's just not quite enough as he just gets slammed down on the ground. And then the other arm kind of whips towards you, and it just kind of arcs over your head as you kind of quickly kind of try to duck underneath the attack.
Now I'm going to hit him. I'm going to spend a key point this time to get my extra attack, so I get 3 in total.
Okay, yeah.
So I got a 21 on that one, and 21 on that one.
Both hit. All right, so you don't have to roll damage as you're like, whoosh, whoosh, and it kind of shudders, and bits of the vines and everything fall out, and then it just kind of slowly deteriorates into a pile of rotting plant debris, just kind of laying there on the ground.
You would have been alive if I hadn't have missed both of my punches last time.
Yeah, I had 3 hit points left.
Damn it.
The last round.
Are we still on initiative order?
No.
Okay, I'm gonna start patting him down for potions.
Okay.
Who else has
Can we take a break? I've got to put a kid to bed.
Sure.
Is
We'll
it
go ahead and
okay?
take a break, and then we'll come back and you can
Potion.
do potions and stuff.
Okay.
All right. So when we went on break, poor Lou was laying on the ground. The monster. Poor Lou was laying on the ground, and Callista reached into a pouch, pulled out a potion, and has given it to Lou. bringing him up to how many hit points?
7.
Bringing him to a positive 7.
Now that, what is it? It's not second wind if you're not a fighter.
He doesn't. He's got.
I'm not a fighter.
No, but whatever that is, that's
Like-
only on a short break, right?
Yeah. You
Okay.
guys don't have
Hit
time.
dice?
We don't have time for that. I just couldn't remember if it was only for that. All right, let's go find Tess. I'll start stomping my way up the path.
All right. So she the Dragonborn begins making her way towards the path. What are you doing, Lou?
I am gonna cast cure wounds on myself. Just help that a little bit. Getting another 9 hit points back.
Okay. Callista?
I'm going to follow her so that she doesn't die,
All right.
even though I'm not much help.
Winsu?
Guess we're going where the dragon lady goes.
I guess, yeah.
Gara?
Yeah, there's no other place to go. I mean, back to the boat.
I mean, I doubt
Or
the
into
plant
that water.
creature's got any loot on him anyway. Unless someone wants to try and...
Well, do you
Take
want to
the
check to see
slime.
where it came from?
Probably,
Yeah, over in the bush.
in the bush.
but we didn't see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did.
Hard to miss. They were 10 feet tall.
Okay,
I thought he
so we're
smelled
heading
it.
that way.
So you don't have to move the mini, just tell me what you guys are doing.
Look at the bushes.
Alright, so you tramped up so we went around. You tramped up the pass.
Up toward the
Uh,
path? Or
Yeah, she's going up the path.
I'm guessing Liam's
just all
gonna go.
kind of go this way?
Yeah, Liam goes back over to the boat, grabs a
Oh.
backpack.
But he
and
comes
then
with us?
Comes with you guys. As you guys are passing by the area where the strange creature kind of lumbered up out of the brush and stuff, you wanted to peer into that area?
Yeah.
Alright, give me an investigation check.
22.
Looking off in there, you see bits of bone and tattered cloth. Looks like the remains of 4 or 5 different humanoids, and as well as like a few other like animal remains and stuff. Mostly like bones and that basically haven't decayed away yet. Just kind of like pulled off into like a little bit of a hollow. Rummaging through it, there is loot to be found in there. You find a couple of riding pouches with a total of about 50 gold and 80 silver in total off in there. You find a kind of like an odd-shaped belt pouch that has like little tube-like pockets in it. It's got 6 of these tube-like pockets, but only 3 of them have something in it. You see 2 red potions and 1 really dark bluish-green potion. The red potion has like a little bit of a glittery gold sparkles inside of it. The dark blue-green is just kind of like a swirly, mucky color.
I have dice that look like that.
You said it was a belt pouch.
Yeah, it's like a little belt pouch, but it's designed to hold potion. These basically these potion bottles are like kind of like long and narrow, like a kind of like a test tube shape. It basically slides into these
Is
buckets.
it
And it's got like a little flap that goes over the top of it.
is
On
the pouch
the-
in decent condition, or is it?
Yeah, it's actually in really good condition. It's leather. It's got a flap that goes over it that has a circular crest on it of a chalice with flames coming. That's basically in the chalice.
Is that it? Is that all that we found in there?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. All right.
And it's got like a little shoulder strap type, satchel type pouch thing.
I'll throw that over my shoulder. Drop
Okay.
the coin in there, and then do the red potions look familiar?
Yeah, you recognize what they are.
That's the only questions then?
Yeah.
And then
But you don't
dark,
recognize the other one.
the dark bluish green one. And as I say, I'm holding that one out going,
You guys want to stop to try to identify it, or you want to keep
trying
going?
to
I'm
run
gonna
away.
take a glance at it, see if I can identify it
Alright,
just with a
then.
quick look. 16.
Disadvantage then.
Okay, so 16. Cocked. Oops, sorry. 16 or 13.
Yeah. With 13, you don't know.
Okay.
You,
We'll look-
you,
we'll
you would
look-
need
we'll
to
check it out
actually
a bit.
sit and
Check
think
it
about
out.
it and check it out.
smell it, taste it a little bit.
It's gotta lick it.
Do you have like the dragon? Is it like a snake tongue?
Dragon. I don't do that tongue thing.
Alright. So as you're making your way along this path, what kind of pace are you trying to take here? Are you in a
I'm
hurry?
marching.
Yeah,
Quick
stole that
pace.
little girl.
Yeah.
Okay. Alright, so you guys quickly moving your way up this narrow trail. As you get past the rock on the right side, you got the cliff face to your left. You kind of get past this large rock and it kind of turns into, it widens out a little bit, but you have a little bit of a drop off on the right side of you as you're making your way up around. Who's in front? Who's the first person?
You took
Marching
off
order.
first.
Once the party catches up, I will probably revert back to my role of somewhere in the middle.
Okay, then
So,
I need to know
can you
who's
put me in
the
the middle?
marching order then.
Probably Lou first.
I would say probably you and me kind of side by
Yeah.
side up front.
Is it single file around that? with
No,
the-
it's
okay.
wide enough that you could get a decent sized carriage through here.
Once you should probably be, oops, not necessarily in front, but in front of the magic users.
Okay, so who's in the front?
Lou and I am.
All right. Dexterity saving throws.
Just those two.
Yep.
15?
24.
All right, as you're kind of walking along, you step, and a portion of the ground, because it has that kind of like a carpet of various vines and leaves and deadfall and decay and everything. As you step into this one area, it kind of collapses away, leaving a pit directly in front of you. And you look down and you see these sharpened stakes about 10 feet down below. But both of you kind of stop and it just kind of crumbles, and you look down off in there. And you see a couple of skeletal remains of other humanoids that weren't quite so fortunate to stop before falling into said pit. The pit itself is about 10 feet wide and about 10 feet across. Not quite big enough because there's about 10 feet on either side of this pit. It's basically just kind of like right in the middle,
How deep is it?
about 10 feet deep.
Is it something that looks like it's close enough to the cliff edge? We could possibly, basically, climb sideways.
There's 10 feet on either side of it
Oh,
to
okay.
go
Yeah.
around it.
There's
That'll
plenty
walk
of
around.
Yeah,
paths
there's
to walk.
plenty of path to walk around.
Well, I guess we'll have to keep an eye out for more of these up
Yeah,
ahead.
someone did not want us to come this way.
Does the road want to check out?
Do you want to try to climb down in there? There's more dead people.
No, not for that, but I mean
No,
for like.
that's well. Yeah, that's why I
more
asked
traps
him how
and
deep
stuff.
it was. Yeah.
You want to try to climb down in there?
Well, I'm gonna use someone's rope. Borrow your rope for a minute.
We don't have
Well,
time
let's-
for this. Why are we going down into a pit, Wintu? What's down there?
I've already found us two potions that
I
nobody
don't know
had.
that.
I just had a. He saw me with potions. I'm handing her a potion.
I almost licked
Yeah.
it. But there is
Even
a
look
small
in the
child that
magazine.
could potentially die if we don't go find her. She might already be dead.
He already died once.
I wasn't dead.
He didn't try very hard.
Liam's like, I am not going to argue with you guys. He just kind of continues
go.
past you guys.
I'm just gonna walk on. I don't have time for a pit.
We can come back for it.
If possible, yeah, we could look on our way back if we.
Do you want to make a perception check to see if anything stands out specific to you?
Yeah.
Okay.
like, I want the loot.
You don't. You're not. This would just use it. We're using perception because it's just kind of a quick glance over as opposed to a full on look.
Oh, that's a shitty roll anyway. 11.
Yeah, you see bits of tattered gear and stuff, but nothing specifically stands out to you that would be helpful at the moment. Stuff that you see that there's a pouch down there that would probably have some coins in it, but that's not going to help you
Okay.
moving forward. It's something that you could definitely remember to come back for. I mean, you kind of have to come back this direction anyway.
We hope.
Unless we
Unless you're dead, in which
teleported.
case then the coins won't matter anyway.
Yeah.
Or we're teleported off into some far away
Other
land
world?
or other world or
Alright, so you guys push on by. Same marching order. You guys basically try to get back into...
If possible, I want to try and find a stick as we go along, just so I can like stab the ground in front of us while we go.
Okay. Alright, so you find a stick and you're like...
Human.
Alright.
Alright, let's go.
Alright. So you find a long stick that you're going to use and you kind of poking ahead of you. And you do find a couple of other like minor, very primitive style traps. Basically like a little trip wire that causes like a branch with like sharpened stakes to come swinging out of the vine, cover the vines and everything and stuff like that. But traps that are, now that you're actually poking and prodding, it's really easy to avoid.
Yeah.
Until you make your way around, and it only takes you maybe 15 minutes tops to basically make your way around this path with you like poking and prodding as you go to get up to the top of the rock. So let's take this down. Alright, so you come up this pathway and it kind of opens up and levels out into a relatively open area with this stone tower kind of looms up in front of you. It goes up maybe 50 feet all on its own, and it appears to have like a flat stone top. It just kind of goes up and kind of gets a little bit more narrow towards the top of it. But it's mostly an octagonal cylinder all the way up. To one side you see a kind of a tattered and run down what looks like it might be a stable. That the bottom of it is stone, stacked stone with a wooden structure that's kind of built on the stones. The roof is kind of sagging. There's bits of like vines and stuff that have grown up over it. You see a really old carriage that is just completely overgrown with more of these vines. To the side of the tower, you see what looks to be a what is it called? A conservatory? Is that what the greenhouse built on the side of a house is? Basically, it's a greenhouse that's built onto the side of this tower, and you see that some of the lower window panes have been broken out, and there's just masses of these tangled vines that kind of come out of this greenhouse and like dangle down the side of the cliff over in that area. The door to the tower itself is closed, but it seems to be in pretty bad repair. The doors are slightly off kilter, not quite sitting flush with one another, sagging on their hinges, and you don't see or hear any kind of movement. Just the steady dribbling of the rainfall as it kind of spatters on the mud-soaked ground. For all of the vines and everything that come out of the greenhouse, it is relatively barren up here on top of the rock. There is a bit of a layer of dirt and some moss and that kind of thing, but there's no trees or other kinds of plant life that you really notice out here.
And this is the cliff over here.
Yeah.
Anybody have a torch?
Yes. I have a lantern also.
I want a torch.
No.
I'm gonna take one of her torches and light it up.
So you light a torch.
We don't hear or see any sign of the little girl.
Where is the cliff base? This here?
That line right there that you're pointing at.
Okay. So this would basically correspond with the area that came down. Alright. So we should go check the greenhouse, I guess. if it dragged her up. Do we want to go through the house, through the tower?
The easiest way to stay out of the vines, too.
All right.
No, I wouldn't say the easiest way, but the way to stay out of the vines.
Yeah. Okay, hold my torch up a little higher. Let's go.
All right, shall we walk up to the?
Make our way to the doors.
It's a very nice path.
So, I'm assuming you guys stay in the marching order that you're currently in.
Yeah.
And you move up towards the doors. As you get closer, like I said, those particular doors kind of hang kind of roughly on their hinges. They appear to have been broken and repaired and broken and repaired probably a couple of dozen different times. The doors themselves are of a very sturdy iron wood. So it's a really hard wood, but the hinges and everything have kind of like been broken and everything, and just kind of very, very crudely repaired multiple times. So the doors themselves kind of hang haphazardly on these crooked, twisted hinges.
By ironwood, you mean like the kind druids use for armor?
No, ironwood is in the actual tree. It's a type of hardwood. It's very,
Okay,
very.
so it's not the almost metal.
No, it's a
hardness.
hardwood.
Okay, just checking.
All right. Well, do the doors open in or out?
Right now, it looks like they could go either way.
Okay. Well, I guess I'll try and open the door, push on it.
Okay, so you reach up and kind of push on the door, and it kind of drags as you kind of push on it, because the corner is like kind of dug into the stone. You kind of push it, and it drags through kind of a carpet of, kind of like outside and into the marsh itself, a carpet of like debris and leaves and dead vines and just plant matter all over the place, and you just kind of see darkness beyond. You see a set of stairs on either side of the door that lead up to a walkway up at the very top. Directly in front of you, you see an open archway, but it's so dark in there that you can't really see much further than the actual arch itself.
Okay.
But there does seem to be a bit of light that comes from the direction of the greenhouse.
I pull out my sword.
Okay. Pull out your sword, and as it casts the shadow, or as you dispel the shadows in the entryway, you see a glimpse of movement to either side back behind the stairs. Two small
Thank you.
humanoid figures kind of huddle off in the shadows. Each of them clutching very crudely made spears. You can see this box. No.
Behind the stairs.
Oh, no, this way.
Somebody with longer arms.
I'm gonna need this more now, so you can't have it anymore.
I guess that's fair.
But they just kind of huddle away from the light of your sword and chitter back and forth at one another. Soon you hear more chittering from other places deeper inside the tower.
Can you recognize the language?
I'm pretty sure none of you speak this language. What languages do you speak?
Speaks chittering.
The ones that I think would be apply to be orc or goblin.
No. Not
Because
even,
they don't speak giant.
not even
Sure.
remotely
Primordial?
close to those.
Is it clicky click?
Nope. Anybody else?
But can I pull out my drift globe?
Yeah.
Not infernal.
No, not infernal.
So all I have is common, infernal, primordial, and orange.
I'm guessing it's Terran.
Nope.
Okay.
I have common Orin and Kyoto.
I can't hear you.
I said all I have is common Orin, Kyotomese, and these. So
Oh, no. None of those.
And I doubt
Okay.
they're celestial.
No. But they're just kind of chittering back and forth at one another, kind of huddled away from the light a little bit. And like I said, you hear others further in.
That's when we close the door and we take a step back.
Do we want to
Go
ask?
forward and punch things.
Are we gonna try and ask them if they've seen the girl. They might not be hostile. It might be just the vines.
They haven't attacked you yet, and I'm assuming you guys are actually trying to talk in character at this point, right?
Yeah, that's me.
Okay.
Should we try speaking in just common?
Give it a shot.
Hello?
Just one of them kind of pokes its head out, and its eyes kind of, these black orbs kind of behind this like kind of pale green flesh. It has these vine-like tendrils for hair that just kind of hang down, and it's got like little bits of leaves and everything that kind of grow off of them. And it's got these like little fingers and everything, and it just kind of looks at you. It's about the size of maybe a gnome or a halfling, only about 2.5 to 3 feet in height. Wiry thin, and just kind of looks at you. And it doesn't seem to recognize your language.
I'm going to start the ritual for comprehend languages. So basically I'll step towards the back of the group where I already am and
Just
just...
a 10-minute.
Yeah.
Okay. What are you doing?
I have no idea at this point. I'm
Okay.
just gonna hold for now.
Winsu, you have any plans? Any actions you want to do?
Throw money at it. Seem to work for the dragon turtle.
We're still in the... Oh no, we're not in the area anymore for... Kyotomis.
No. Long ways.
Yeah, I
from
say we
Yeah.
left that area. No, I don't...
Kara?
I want to take a step inside the doorway, but I don't want to make these things mad. But I don't know. Yeah, I'll take a step in and see what they do.
There's gonna be more and they're gonna kill us.
Alright. As you kind of step in, you see the two smaller creatures that you see through using Winsu's light, and then you pull out your drift globe and set it to glowing and floating along next to you. They raise up their spears and kind of hunker back off into a corner, and they kind of chitter at one another, and then all of a sudden you hear a very similar sounding pattern of speech, but it's a little bit more broken with creaks and snaps that are kind of added to it. And you see two larger creatures, a little bit larger than a human as far as its like height, but they seem to be made up of like broken and twisted dead wood and vines. As they kind of come around, as they step, their legs creak and snap with each movement. As the bits of wood and everything kind of rub and everything together, kind of creates like this kind of like a grunting, groaning, snapping sound. And they kind of chitter away, and you see the two creatures kind of just shy away from these larger beings. And they seem to be moving forward, and they kind of put out their hands like this, and you see their fingers kind of elongate and become sharpened like thorns as they begin to move towards you guys. Initiative.
Do they
Why don't we try for the
speak
peaceful
our
option?
priority?
Lou,
14.
Callista,
10.
Wensu,
20.
Kara,
12.
the guys,
6.
Liam,
17.
Wensu.
I'll move inside.
Don't attack yet.
Why not?
Because what if they're not like the little ones aren't mean? What if it's the big ones? Then we could get the little ones to help us.
No, there.
Maybe.
There. I can't really get...
If Bree can get her
Use your
spell
cunning
to-
action.
go through.
How far can I go with my action?
It's your movement again.
Just movement again.
It would take you right to them.
But I'm not sure I want to attack these ones.
No, I'm talking
they're,
about
they're,
these guys.
Yeah, they're
But do you want to
they're
go all the way over there
wincing
by
away
yourself?
from these ones. Well, that's the other question. Do I want to get myself caught into a situation where I can die? It's not like we got a lot of potions or anything.
What are you doing?
I'm staying there.
Okay. Who's next?
Liam.
Alright, so Liam will move forward and he's going to try to
Where's he moving to?
just kind of into the doorway so he can actually see. And he's going to try to assess the situation. He hasn't really seen much of what else is going on. But he does recognize that the other two seem to be more of a threat as the other guys are kind of huddled off in more of a defensive pattern, and these guys look like they're more in an aggressive, offensive kind of pose. So he is going to launch an arrow at the first one. Cocked. And he will hit it
What's he got?
for 4 points of damage.
Longbow?
Yeah, he's got a longbow. He's like, and the arrow streaks forward and strikes the first one and kind of implants into this creature's body. And he just kind of reaches over and slaps at it and just kind of snaps it off. And the end of it kind of clutters onto the ground.
Which one did he hit?
The one on this side.
Okay.
There's like no crits in this game.
No. It's natural 20 all around. There's no 19
Sorry.
20.
Yeah, it's nice when it was like 18 to 20 sometimes.
Who's next?
Once who went, Liam went, making it Lou's turn.
Alright, Lou.
My turn. Alright. Well, I can't make it all the way up there, so I'm just gonna move to here, slightly in front of Wensu.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, I know you are
No.
relatively low on your health. You want to snatch one of those potions out of Winsu's pouch as you're over there next to him?
Yeah, I'll do that. They're just regular ones, the 2D.
Yeah.
6 plus 2, so 8.
It's better than you were. Alright, who's after Lou?
Thea and Kara are Simo.
Alright, Kara. That's your melee.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Is he in this one?
Yeah, put them in squares. Whatever squares they're closest to.
1, 2,
6, 7. I'm gonna go on this side of this guy
Okay.
so that the other one can't reach me. And
Yeah.
I'm gonna hit him
Without moving, but yeah.
without moving. And 16
Hit.
and 17.
Hit.
Hit both. 14 points of damage.
14. Alright, so you go running up and just and see bits of like the wood and dried wood and everything that kind of make up its body. You hit it and it kind of splinters and spots and like bits of it falls off, and it just kind of part of it kind of sags off to one side and it just kind of slowly rightens itself back up and kind of glares at you. Deep inside you see these like little like green lights kind of inside where its head would be. Who's next?
Me.
It's you, right?
It's the same, yeah. Let's see, 5 by 30. Okay, so I'm going to move up into the doorway, abandoning my attempt to cast Comprehend Languages because,
Nothing lost
yeah.
as far as like spell slots go, but alright.
Yeah, and I'm gonna move basically into the crux of the stairs there so that I can see the two of the other one. So I can have line of sight on the two creatures, and then I'm gonna cast Acid Splash. So they
Okay.
each need to make a DC 13 saving throw.
Okay, so one next to her, this, and the other one. What'd you say it was?
13?
So that one will pass.
Okay.
Oh no, it won't. It will not.
So do you want me to do them separate or just the same for
It's
each?
just the same damage regardless.
So 4 points of acid damage to each of those.
Just brings that one to. Okay. Next.
Next is Callista.
Alright, Callista. You're back there in the back.
I'm gonna move forward and then I'm going to attempt. I can move forward So 5, 15, 20, 25, 30.
Okay.
So I'm gonna
From-
attempt to hit.
Oh,
that-
that's a wall right
Yeah,
there.
you can't actually see them
No.
because of the wall.
But you could stand here.
You
and
could
see
stand
them.
here because you can shoot through friendlies and you're fine.
Okay.
As long as you don't miss.
Right.
Shoot someone in the ass.
One time. And then I'm gonna attempt to do firebolt again because I assume that. Do they have weakness to that because of the
You will-
wood?
You
or-
won't know
Yeah,
until
no
you.
idea.
Yeah.
But you mean it's a good
But you
assumption.
can try.
Lighting a stick guy on fire is
Yeah.
probably a good way to go.
That's what I'm going with.
Okay.
Alright, do it.
9 plus a 6.
What's the 6?
50.
That is a hit.
Ooh.
Which one are you aiming at?
The one by
By Kara. Okay.
7.
7. All right. So you launch your firebolt at that one, and you see this like glowing ball of fire come over, and it collides with this creature's body, and you see it like some flames shoot up and amongst all of the vines and everything. It's like, and it just kind of crumbles to the ground, and it is now just kind of laying over here on fire.
I am out.
Next.
Bye, guys.
Meanwhile, the other one, seeing its friend fall to the ground on fire, but you being the closest target, just kind of rushes forward, its body creaking and snapping as it comes up to you, and just lashes out with its strange thorn-like claws.
I'm sorry. It's cool.
It's one less. It's not both of them attacking.
Yeah.
It's
Does it
AC of
say
20,
fire?
though. So it does 4 points of bludgeoning damage and 4 points of slashing or piercing damage, as it's like right into your flesh.
Sweet.
Sweet. Okay. The bad guys are done. It's initiative.
Good.
Lou,
16.
Callista,
5,
Wensu,
22.
Kara,
15.
bad guys,
17,
Liam.
21.
Okay, Wensu.
Okay.
To it. I have sneak attack because.
Yep, because she's in base contact with it.
Okay. So roll a hit. 20.
That is a hit.
Alright. There we go. 7, 9. So 13 points.
13.
Oh, not good. Still rolled a 1. And 2.
It's not bad. Alright, so you run up and you plunge your dagger into its side as it's fixated on her, and you snap through some various twigs and stuff that's basically forms up this creature's like fairly brittle looking form, and you snap and you twist the dagger and you yank it back out, and it kind of almost collapses and staggers, but it's still kind of on its feet.
Liam.
So Liam is
Where
back
the
there.
heck back there? With his bow.
He's going to try to move around so that he can get a clear shot. So kind of,
Like this area.
yeah, right in there. So he moves around through there, draws his arrow and launches the attack. He'll hit. Nice. Nice. Does 10 points of damage, planting an arrow directly into this thing, what would be this thing's head, and it's like, and just kind of clatters to the floor. Bits of its form just kind of fall apart. While Winsu and Kara are right there, you kind of look down that hallway and you see a rather large flower in this greenhouse, and it's just kind of sitting there. Just this big, beautiful, like huge yellow and red flower,
Don't touch it.
just kind of
Sorry.
sitting there.
Just feed me Seymour.
And you see two more of these creatures. I can go ahead and reuse these since you guys killed them before the other ones came out.
Come out of the flower.
Basically, they coming out of the greenhouse towards you.
It's the bad guys' turn.
Is it?
Yep.
All right, so move them 30 feet.
Oh, Wensu.
Sorry, Wensu.
All right.
Tuck and roll.
So the first one kind of, you hear it snapping and clicking as it basically charges through down the hallway towards you. And it lashes out at you, hitting an armor class of 18.
Hit
Or
by 1.
try that again. Wow, that's not bad. 7 points of bludgeoning, along with 2 points of piercing damage. As it lashes out at you, and the other one will go ahead and attack you as well.
It hit.
Yeah. Glad you got that potion. For 4 points of bludgeoning and 3 points of piercing.
16 total now.
Meanwhile,
That makes it Lou's turn.
All right. I'm gonna move up to here, and I'm gonna.
Jesus, Mary and Joseph, John.
put that in that other circle over there. No, wrong guy. Sorry, I'm looking at the dark. You see the other one? Perfect.
Gonna slash at the one directly in front of
Okay.
Wensu. 17?
Yep.
6 points of slashing damage.
All right, so you just kind of hack into it, and it's like chopping into old brittle vines. You see bits of splinters and everything, but you just kind of hack into it, and it just kind of turns, and you just hear this like sound come up out of its chest as it just kind of rattles and chitters at you. And while the other one kind of chitters and yells, and almost as not directing it at you, but more towards the smaller green creatures that were in the other room with the spears.
So who's next?
Kara.
Kara.
I'm gonna step up and hit this guy.
All right.
There's 15 hits.
Yep.
And 21.
Hit. This is not the one that Lou hit, right?
No.
No.
13 points.
13. Nice.
13.
All right. So you run up and throw a punch, and you hear some shattering branches and stuff inside of it, and you throw in like a kick off to the side, and more of it kind of snaps, and you see its arm kind of like break off and like land on the ground, but it still has one sharp taloned claw ready to attack.
After Kara, it is Callista.
I thought I got this.
You shot fire last time.
It's a new round.
Oh.
Just shoot more fire at it, and that seemed to work.
That's what I was going for.
Okay. So you rush forward.
I'm gonna
And-
shoot at the one that Kara's hitting because that one does. No, I'm gonna shoot at the one that wants in and hit.
Okay.
I didn't hit it. Just look.
Oh, well,
He
okay.
hit me. 21.
20, yeah, 20.
Hit.
21. Let's go.
7.
7 points.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So you rush forward and cast your spell, and you see this ball of flame goes past you and Lou and strikes that creature, and you see it engulfed in flame for just a few moments as it just like.
That doesn't
So
die
the
yet.
flame is
It is not
doing
dead yet.
extra damage.
We don't know.
It does seem to react more to it.
Okay.
So who's next?
Thea, so me. I'm gonna move into that room now, and I'm gonna move, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'll move to here, please. I'm gonna acid splash the 2 of them. So a DC 13 dexterity save.
Fail. Fail.
So they'll take 3 more points of acid damage each.
Okay.
And that makes it initiative. Lou,
10.
Callista,
19.
Lensu,
9.
Kara,
23.
bad guys,
4.
and Liam.
16.
Okay, Kara's first.
I want to punch him. Oh, is that wonky? That's a widow. Or does a 14 hit?
14 does hit.
Okay. I'm not gonna miss this. That was a drop. 14 more points of damage.
Oh, thank you. Okay.
14 more points of damage to the thing.
That's when to dancing.
What's it doing?
14
Bird dance
to which
the
one?
drums.
To this one.
That'd be more like this.
Okay, so that one drops to the ground. You just slam into it and it just like
Start doing the
Splinters
I
apart.
am Groot.
is next.
After
cat-
Punchy Punch, it's
Cassidy's game.
She-Devil.
Right, you're up.
Okay,
Again?
I'm gonna do
Oh, alright.
Well, she went at the bottom of last round, top of this one.
Oh, okay.
firebolt again.
Alright.
Gonna do
So
it.
same one.
Yep.
Uh, 18.
18, that is a hit.
Burn it.
Was it this one?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was the D8.
Set it on fire.
9.
Alright, so you launch another ball of fire at it, and it collides with it, and again, just engulfed in flame, and then it just kind of collapses onto the ground.
You gotta sing Hunga Hunga Burning Love every time you fire it up.
And you can still move if you want to.
Yes.
I will move.
So when you turn and look at the blue little guy and go like this.
Okay. Who's next?
I don't want to be next to those guys just in case.
That's what I said, you turn and look at him like that and you just shot fireballs.
Liam is next.
Alright, so Liam will move into the room as best he can and towards the hallway, if he can. So he's got a total of 30 feet of movement, double movement to get through you guys.
2, 3. Can you move through friendly?
Yeah, he can move diagonal to there though, so 3, and then 4, 5, and then 1 more
6.
to there. And he readies an arrow because he's not sure as to what's next.
Thea. Thea is next. So, Thea is going to move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And she's going to cast web. So it's a 20-foot cube from the starting point. So if I picked right here, it would go, what, 4 squares in each direction?
Yep.
And it would fill the whole room?
Yep.
Okay, so that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna cast web there. And, well, actually, hang on. I guess I should probably stop here, that way I don't get stuck in the web. I'm gonna cast web here. So theoretically, it should fill the whole room. So the creatures each need to make a dexterity saving throw.
They fail.
Okay. So they're stuck in the web.
They can't.
I don't think they can move. Now you're just making it harder for us to get into.
Hmm?
Steve is dancing.
dancing.
Okay, who's next? Alright, so you drop the torch in there and you just see the webs quickly burn up, and the large flower in the center doesn't really move or anything. You just see the center of it's kind of open up, and you see like this weird toothy like pod like in the center of it. But you do hear some squealing to one side of it.
I hope there weren't any little things in there.
Like the girl.
Shit. Right. So now that I've barbecued the innocent child, it's Lou's turn.
Alright, Lou.
Hopefully I have that other potion I found is a greater healing or something. No?
Burn cream.
Some burn cream.
mats of aloe vera.
Her house has burned down once before. She's used to it, right?
Oh.
Wow.
Too soon, right? It's been 4 years.
So, what do I see when I get up to here? This is
When
the
you get up to
extent-
there, you see, you can see another large flower off to one side. Not quite as big as the other one.
I can see that one.
Yeah, you can see that one. I don't know. I don't think you could quite see. Well, maybe. Yeah, I'd say you could see the other one. But you also see a weird pod off the other side that's kind of all closed up. Kind of like, basically, like this smaller flower that you can see open on the other side. But it's just kind of closed up, and it seems to be like undulating a little bit. And it's got these like little tentacles on these 4 red tentacles on either side of it. Basically red-looking vines.
We're not in a Japanese flick, though, right? You're safe.
Well, I'm pretty sure the little girl's in there,
Yeah, I was
though.
gonna say she's
Yeah.
stuck in there.
Oh, with the tentacles. Cool.
So that's my full movement. I do not have anything ranged. So I don't think I'm gonna use my action to dash, so I'm just gonna stay there.
Okay.
Ready to action just in case something comes close.
All
When
right.
soon?
So attack something if it basically comes to you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm worried about hitting that thing with anything like fire or stuff like that. Because what if she's in it and then she dies?
It's as far as I can move, actually, right there.
You have your cunning action as well.
But it's only a straight line, correct?
No.
No, it's just movement. You just get to move twice.
Okay.
You get to use your cunning action allows you to dash, which is basically do another movement,
Okay. I kept
or
thinking it was only a straight
hide,
line.
or disengage
Disengage, yeah.
as a bonus action.
Yeah. So normally a dash takes a regular action.
Yeah.
So you could technically, if you wanted to, do 3 movements a turn using your cunning action and your regular action to like you
Yeah,
could move 90.
yeah, you can be really fast if you wanted to.
But you couldn't do anything else. But
So if you needed to run away,
Ow.
so what you doing?
I will go to this one,
Okay.
but I will. I'm afraid to stab at this thing. Just
try
'cause
prying it open.
Yeah. Would I be able to pry it open?
You can certainly try.
That would be more of a Lou thing with the strength.
So you just gotta try to get your fingers in there and try to tear open the petals or whatever.
Yeah.
All right, give me a strength check.
I'm gonna roll high because I already got a -1.
14.
14.
With its strength modifier. No. It just you kind of pry at it a little bit and you see a little bit of like cloth that you recognize as the shirt that or the tunic that Tess was wearing, but it just like just clenches down harder on it.
So as I see that, I start squawking loud that she's in here killing everybody. So you guys can hear me. You know, not to attack the pod.
We could probably attack the base. Like,
Yeah. But I'm just
But,
saying
yeah.
so that way we know not to
It's
attack
roots
the
out.
pod.
Who's next?
The flowers.
All right.
The evil, evil flowers.
So this door opens up
Oh man.
and you see one of the little green creatures like over there kind of pops out and is looking around, and you see a second one is kind of off behind it, and they're just kind of let's see what's their reaction. They're startled enough that the one in front will actually try to move up and stab you.
Okay. Whoa, 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 whoa.
But it does not is not going to succeed. He's just like, he just kind of lunges back. It's just like looking at you. Its strange little black orbs that it has for eyes are just like open wide. Just like,
Whoa, 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 whoa. I'll point back into its room. Is that it?
who's next?
It's initiative.
Oh.
Well, I guess if the rest of the bad guys want to go.
The pod that's next to you, it's little red vines. One of them kind of reaches it, tries to like lash at you. Hitting an armor class of 10. It's just like, eh.
Stop. Trying to sleep.
The other one doesn't do anything, but the large one, you see it kind of, its body begin, like just behind the petals of the flower, its body kind of begins to swell up.
Sweet.
It's gonna do hyper beam, guys. I've played
Can we
Pokemon.
spin
I've beaten a
It's
Venusaur.
gonna
I know what's happening here.
It's gonna spit at us.
That's initiative.
This
Lou?
one spits. It doesn't
18.
swallow.
Kalista.
9.
What?
9.
9. Wensu.
15.
Kara.
13.
Bye, guys.
12.
I'm gonna get hit.
11 for
Liam.
Liam.
All right, that makes it Lou's turn.
All right, Lou.
Just gonna get around beside it
Okay.
and just hack at it.
All right, take a swing.
11.
Sadly, that doesn't penetrate its thick leathery green hide.
Wensu.
Okay, Winston, what you doing?
Yeah, no, it's... Is that beside it there, basically? Would that
Yeah.
one
Yeah.
still be beside it?
So you want to use your bonus action to disengage?
Yeah, from this one.
Okay.
And then,
You could move all the way back here if you wanted to.
sure. Just out of its face.
Just in case. Yeah.
I've been in this situation before and I've been in bad.
All right,
Oh,
so
wait, I won't get hit. There's a wall.
Where you're at, you're way up.
so you're attacking?
Yeah.
All right.
Except for
Nope. All right, who's next?
Throw me the D20.
Pretty good at landing on top of that. Too. I don't know, I'm not gonna hit that.
Are you sure?
Probably.
12.
It's 12.
No, not quite.
I was gonna say, I think you
So you're just like,
I rolled an 11.
and it just
was-
it kind of squeaks off of its the body of this thing is kind of surprisingly durable.
It's surprisingly gross. Kara's turn.
There's no. I can't move any faster than I already do, correct?
Not without
Key points.
sacrificing your movement, or basically your action. You can move double,
But
which
you
is
couldn't
dash,
attack.
but you
There's
wouldn't be
no
able
key
to
points
attack.
that do it.
I could
don't think she
move
has any of those
double
ones.
and ask Wensu for a potion.
Yeah, you could do
Bro,
that
give me a
because
drink.
talking isn't going. You wouldn't be able to drink the potion this
So
round
next.
until next round, because your actions would be done, and he's already used his action to attack, so he wouldn't have an action to give it to you. But you would be there. Or
You could punch things on the way.
you can do what you want to do.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Probably gonna get hit right there.
Oh, that's very good.
Hide behind a wall.
And do what?
I
It reared up, so.
Question: where did you move?
Right there.
No, I meant how did you move?
She can move diagonal. We could just say that she didn't pass in front of the
Okay.
angry
Oh, through.
steps.
Oh no!
Wielding.
If he's in my way, then
It's not that he's in the way. It's, you would basically have to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Well, you can move diagonal,
5,
so
6.
it's not even. She could get the same place moving the same movement.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's just going a little more crisscross.
It's more of a weaving pattern as opposed to a straight line.
Yeah.
We'll do.
Do that.
Sure.
Okay. And then just punching the flower that's over there. All right.
See what it's doing.
Because that's what I was gonna do
That's-
when I prepared my spells this morning. I had to punch flowers.
Well, 13?
For the little one, yeah.
Yeah.
Granted, I started the day off blind, so it's really only gotten better.
That's yesterday.
8 points of damage.
For 8 points.
Yeah, because I missed my first one.
Bad guys?
Oh, that's good. So let's see. It's back there. Perception for you and you.
11.
Okay, you see it.
19.
All right, so you both notice.
More trees.
Out of this door over here. That's their move like this turn, but you see two other of those strange, dried out twig creatures come out of there. Meanwhile, I think it's just going to be the three of you guys. This big cloud of gas sprays out of this large flower, just kind of goes, and this like cloud of gas about 10 feet wide, just kind of this like kind of weird, sickly, pinkish dust kind of blows through there.
Does it heal us? Because that'd be cool.
It does not heal you guys, but I do need you guys to make Constitution saving throws.
And that's Wensulu and Kara? And me?
Yeah.
Okay. What about the critters?
Where's Winsu is
Here.
there. No, they're not affected by this.
Am I affected by it?
Yeah,
And what did you say it was? Con?
yeah, Constitution saving throw.
12.
So,
Same.
like, how far does it go?
All the way over into
Oh.
this room. Once the door's open, it will actually go under there.
So all of us have to do it?
No, just it's
Everyone is
10
in
feet
front.
wide and goes off in that direction. You're off to one side,
Oh.
he's off to the other
So
side.
I don't
So it's
have to
just
do it.
So-
us three.
So these three. Okay, because it was a little unclear on
Just
which
the
three,
women.
sorry.
What was the DC?
There's a pink cloud.
What did you get?
12.
12.
12.
1.
How do you get 1?
Well, I rolled a natural 1.
Alright, so
So I guess
this is what happens. You
Technically
kind of
5.
inhale it in and you're like, it's just it's like horrible. It's like
I mean,
when you
here.
walk into a room with like, and somebody's like wearing way too much perfume or whatever, and you start to kind of choke and sputter and you're just like, you will have disadvantage on any d20 rolls that you basically roll going forward
Awesome.
until you can basically clear this out. Until you either make a Constitution saving throw or a 10 rounds pass.
Nice.
We can use our action.
You can still use your action, you just have disadvantage on all your die
Oh,
rolls.
okay.
Basically roll 2d20 and take the lowest. You, on the other hand, you get this big cloud of like... and you pass out. You just fall right off to sleep.
She did improve her score to a 5, though.
doesn't matter.
Yeah, she rolled way too low.
Okay. Right. Well, if the bad guys are done fucking things up, it's Liam's turn.
Wait a minute.
Liam needs to make a save, doesn't he?
Yeah. Oh, wait a minute. Where's Liam?
Right there.
Oh, yeah, he's
Well, hang
got
on,
it.
hang on. You said it was 10 foot wide, right?
Yeah.
So hang on. Because it's either going to hit me and Liam or me and her. Right? Because it's 10 foot wide. This is a 15 foot wide hallway. She was over here.
Oh, was
He's
she?
over here.
She was here.
Okay.
So who does it hit? You want to just say that that it was basically this 10 foot?
Yeah.
Well, then it wouldn't-
Then it wouldn't
That
affect
wouldn't-
you at all. Because
Okay.
you're on the far side over there.
Would
There
it
we
affect me?
Yeah,
Right.
because I was thinking it was 10 feet wide. I can't see the squares. My vision's not that good. So you don't have disadvantage.
There we go.
Those
than that,
guys
it is
came
Liam's
out.
turn.
No, it's not. That's still bad guys.
Oh.
So those guys came out. It breathed. Then the flower next to you that you went up and decided to punch will try to lash out at you with one of its little like red vines. And
It's hurt when you get slapped.
it's just like it doesn't hit you. the little dude that popped out the door and was like, ah! As you're like, it was like, ah!
Motherfucker, go away.
It's an armor class of 12. No, not
That's
really.
a miss.
That's not really it. Actually, it's an AC of 9.
Okay.
You should just push him down back in the door.
Yeah, right? Just kick him over. You little.
Push him down and shut the door.
Now it's Liam's turn.
It'd be such a dick move though. Like,
So
just,
he will-
get out of here, kid.
He's going to shoot at the big flower. Since it breathed at everybody. He will hit. We'll do a grand total of 3 points of damage. 3 points of piercing damage to the large flower.
Callista.
Callista, make a wisdom, or sorry, constitution saving throw.
Much better.
17.
Alright, so you kind of groggily start to wake up, but you can't do anything. But you are at least conscious.
Am I back up then?
No.
Not standing.
You're just laying on the ground.
No.
Basically, at the end of your turn, since you are unconscious and everything, you can't do anything. But at the end of your turn, you get to make a constitution saving throw to see if you can try to recover from it.
Okay, it's my turn.
Alright, what you doing?
I'm probably gonna get hit with an attack of opportunity because I'm gonna ignore these guys and go 1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay.
That one's over here.
Yeah, that one little dude will try to feeling that he might be scaring you. He's like, yeah! It's an AC of 11.
Just hiss at him and keep walking. Okay. Once I get over to there, though, I'm gonna cast a spell. I want to cast Knock on the flower. Want me to read it to you?
Yeah, go ahead and read it to me.
Choose an object that you can see within range. The object can be a door, a box, a chest, a set of manacles, a padlock, or another object that contains a mundane or magical means that prevents access. A target that is held shut by mundane lock or that is stuck or barred becomes unlocked, unstuck, or unbarred. If the object has
You
multiple
go ahead and
locks...
stop reading. I'll allow it.
Okay. I cast Knock on the flower.
I am going to get, because it is a living creature though, I am going to give it a saving throw.
Okay.
I will say, what do you think? Is it...
Or stat-wise.
Con, I mean, it's trying to resist me, or strength, I guess. Because
Strength?
it's trying to resist me physically.
That makes
That's
sense.
your DC.
13.
It fails. Yes! So it's like, you're like, it's like,
And it makes a loud, resounding knock that can be heard from 300 feet, so fuck off, little guys.
so its petals like fly open and you see a kind of this like slime covered Tess, and she just kind of slumps out onto the
Okay.
floor.
Can I use my last 2 squares of movement to basically pick her up away from the flower?
No, it would be an action.
Okay,
Or use
that's
your
fine.
action.
Now it's initiative. I knocked the flower out.
It's
Yeah,
like,
good
I
thinking
don't
like
want to open.
Lou,
6.
Callista,
14.
Wensu,
13.
Kara,
20.
bad guys.
1.
Liam.
17.
Okay, Kara's first.
Okay, so now I'm gonna go over to Wensu. If I go over there and get a potion and drink it, that's my action.
Yes.
And I can't punch you anything.
Can't
Right.
punch anything.
Could she expend key points to punch things?
No.
No.
Okay.
She has to punch something to expend the key point to punch for.
Okay.
Am I gonna get an attack of opportunity against that flower? Okay, I'm gonna do it.
Well, it actually hits you.
Or what's it?
What?
Oh, nice.
I rolled
Oh,
a
I thought it
19
was a 13.
for 3 points of bludgeoning damage. It's just like, whoosh.
So I'm gonna go over to Wensu and
It's on his belt.
yeah. Well, I don't want to reach over. I'm gonna peck him in the face by his beak.
He's like,
My treasure!
Yeah, right. My shinies.
Just give him a reach around and grab the potion.
I'm gonna.
Just grab his vial, you won't mind.
Oh man.
make sure you lift the flap though.
Okay. Okay. I'm gonna go over to Wensu and say, Wensu, can I have one of those healing potions in your belt, please?
Don't stab me.
I'll take it and I'm gonna drink it.
I'm going to say that it was your action. You basically take it because
Okay.
otherwise
If you do that,
it's basically
you take
his action. Have to
Oh,
sacrifice
okay.
his action to give it to you.
So he'll just be like,
He's cutting action, he flips it at
Just lift up this flap and you just slide it right out.
okay.
him. Slowly though, gently. So what do I get back with that?
2d4 plus 2.
Just don't choke on it.
Really?
4 points.
That's shitty, dude.
I lost 3 going over there.
So you
You're
one up.
You're 1 up.
Just pick up a mushroom and eat it. You'll be fine.
Who's next?
Liam.
All right, Liam will.
Shoot her.
Yeah, he's gonna go ahead and shoot at the big flower. He's not gonna hit though. Being 0 level is not
Yeah.
nice. He's
Thea,
doing pretty good so far.
Mm-hmm. You got some good hits.
yeah. Thea and Lou are Simon. Go ahead and go first.
Alright, well, I'm just gonna strike at it.
Okay.
Hopefully I can hit this time. Yep, 25.
That is a hit.
I will expend my last spell slot to smite it.
Okay.
19.
Nice.
And I'm assuming it's not a fiend, so
No, it is not a fiend. It is a plant.
It's a
But
flora.
you just
I get more damage. That's all.
so you just hack into it and you put just this huge gash in the side of this plant, and it's just like this like sap, this kind of a clear liquid just kind of oozing out of it.
Okay, so I was Simo. The stuff that's on Tess, does it look like it's causing her harm? Like, is it digestive fluids kind of thing? Would that be a knowledge check? Like a nature?
I'd say nature or medicine.
I'm gonna go with nature. It's 12.
It is some sort of digestive enzyme, but it doesn't seem to be very fast acting.
Okay.
So
I
it
probably
should have
got a
basically
minute or
been
so.
like it primarily keeps her unconscious and slowly dissolves her over a matter of weeks.
Oh, that's nice.
That's
Okay.
pleasant.
I'm gonna cast chromatic orb at the
Technically,
flower.
using a skill takes your action.
Does it? Okay. So can I use my movement to move back with her?
Yeah, I'd allow that because you'd already have basically a hold of her while you were checking
Assessing
her out.
Okay. So we're gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Okay. Who's next?
I don't know.
Come on now.
Callista.
What are you doing?
She had to roll her other constitution.
No,
yeah,
she's
that's right.
fine. She can get up now, right?
She can get up. She just has
Okay.
disadvantage. She's at where you guys were at now.
How do
Would she
I
have
get
disadvantage on the
You-
back
constitution?
from disadvantage?
Well, it's
I think
at the
that's
end
what
of your turn. You make another save.
Right.
So can I?
Well, right.
You're just do act as normal now.
Yeah.
You're not rolling anything.
Yeah.
Okay.
At this
So you
point.
stood up, which takes half your movement. So you have 3 squares you can move, and you can still like cast your spells and stuff.
Okay,
But you have
I'm gonna
disadvantage on the
move
fireball,
one
right?
forward.
Oh,
That.
you need to roll your Constitution save.
One here.
Oh, should I have rolled the skill check
And
as a
then how many
disadvantage?
feet away am I
Technically,
from the
yeah, but you
plant?
didn't really.
Like, am I within
You-
the 120
it's
range?
fine.
It wasn't
yeah.
a game
Yeah.
changer.
Yeah.
And
What
then
did you need me to do?
Firebolt
Constitution
damage. Do I have disadvantage? Right?
You
Alright,
have
so you roll the
disadvantage,
dice
so.
twice. And
Yeah,
take the
11
lowest.
is whatever.
So 14. So they take the 14.
14,
So
20.
20
Two.
total to hit this with a firebolt.
Yep, that's a hit.
These ones.
3 points of fire.
Okay.
And now does she make a Constitution saving?
And now
throw?
she makes her Constitution
Now you
save.
make your Constitution saving throw. 13.
No, you don't pass.
My turn. Okay, so I'm gonna stab that.
The first time I rolled a
Lance.
19.
The big one. Damn it. 17.
That's a hit.
Okay.
Just get a new one.
And more than that would.
It's gone for
There's other D6s
Don't worry
on the
about it.
table.
There's other D6s than this.
You only have to
Well-
stop everything and pick it up. It's D4.
16.
16. Good job.
Laying mine on the ground. D4s.
It feels like.
All right, so you plunge the dagger deep into it, and you feel basically it sink into like a cavity on the inside, and you pull it out, and it's just this big, huge like glob of like oozing like pink, clearish pink liquid just kind of comes oozing out of the side of it.
I believe I punctured something.
So Wensu went, which means it's the bad guy's turn.
Alright, so pods
Oh, wait, I
can't do
forgot.
anything.
There are tree guys behind me.
Yeah.
No.
So the first tree creature moves up to the sorceress. And
The busty sorceress.
The busty sorceress.
You're welcome.
The highly charismatic sorceress.
So they come here often?
And we'll try to stab her with his thorn.
He's gonna stab you.
So
Where's his thorn?
Thorn.
Oh.
He's thorny.
He got worse.
Oh god.
does an 11 hit you?
No.
Alright. The second one moves up to the sorceress and does the same thing.
Try to hit you.
And we'll hit an AC of 13.
Dang it.
That
That
will.
hits.
Yep.
He had better moves.
He's got those moves like Jagger.
Moves like jagged.
Yeah.
So 1,
You're gonna need a bigger dice tray, dude.
4. Yeah, I need a bigger dice tray. 4. 4 points of bludgeoning and 3 points of piercing damage.
So 7 total.
Give me a perception check. Since you're groggy, you do have disadvantage, though.
Same roll both times.
What'd you get?
Is that perception?
Yep.
7.
7?
I
Alright.
already had
Your
it on.
vision is way too blurred and you're kind of coughing and gagging. So, all you see is these two creatures trying to attack you.
Initiative.
Oh,
Lou?
crap. 3.
Callista?
10.
Wensu?
9.
Kara?
16.
Bad guys?
3?
Liam.
20.
Okay, well, Liam's first. Liam's gonna
Alright,
level up.
so Liam,
If he doesn't die.
seeing that you have brought his sister back, also notices that there are two creatures behind, so he will turn and shoot at the one that's basically directly in line with him. He will hit said creature for 9 points of piercing damage. So he's just like, you see an arrow thwack into the side of one of the tree creatures that have attacked you.
Kara.
Kara is now gonna move up to that and attack.
What'd
Alright.
you budget?
16.
Hit.
Miss. I'm gonna spend a key point to get another one. And 21. $12 points.
Total.
Yes.
Alright. So with your first punch, it kind of like shudders off to the side, and with your next one, you kind of bring it across, and the flower kind of trembles and just kind of wilts off to the side.
What a KS, man. Kill stuff.
What?
She's like, I'm gonna come in here now. After we just did all like poking holes in it.
It's
You don't notice they do that on
Daya's
video games
turn.
too?
Alright.
so she's gonna set Tess up against this wall, basically trying to block it from the line of sight of the big oogie boogie. And she's gonna move 1, 2, 3. She's gonna turn around and actually face the monsters, and she's gonna cast Thunder Wave. So they're gonna need to make a
You're
DC.
cutting
right?
her out of it, right?
Yeah, I'll use my spell shape to cut her out.
Okay.
So it's a DC 13 Constitution saving throw for each of them.
First one passes, second one fails.
So
So
the
the one
first one-
directly in front of you will pass. The one directly in front of her will fail.
Okay, so the one that passes takes 5 points of damage and stays put. The one that failed takes 10 points of damage and goes flying back 10 feet.
10 points?
10 points of damage.
I thought the
Okay.
other one failed.
It's a nice
No, that's the
spell.
one that failed.
Get the fuck out.
Right?
You feel back 10 feet, does that mean you actually hit the wall?
Wish it
These
worked
are
like that.
doors.
Callista.
If he would only moved 5 feet, then yeah. But he moved his full distance. So.
Callista is next.
Alright, Callista.
I'm going to cast.
Me? cancel.
That's what I was thinking. You want to turn towards these three guys?
Firebolt at the one that's like at base contact.
The one right with you?
Yeah.
Okay. You're already at disadvantage, might as well. But just so you know, in the future, when you cast spells to attack something in base contact with you, you have disadvantage on the
If you're
attack.
gonna attack,
But you already have disadvantage, so.
Oh.
But you rolled well, so
Yeah.
you hit.
Okay.
You got a 21 on your lowest
Yeah.
roll, so
All
roll
right,
damage.
so you hit.
Oh, 7.
7 points of fire.
So 14. All right, so you blast that one, and it's just like whoosh, flame, just like climbs up its chest and engulfs its head and everything, and it's like, and it just kind of collapses backwards.
he did.
Oh, yeah.
Alright, if Callista is done, it's Wensu's turn.
Oh, wait. Do I do mine?
Yeah, do your
You still
constitution.
haven't done yours.
16.
All right, so your vision and everything kind of clears, and you feel a bit better. So you are no longer suffering from the sickness.
I got 12, so I'm still.
Yeah, you're still.
What are you doing?
So the big one died, right?
Yep.
If I turn and look, does it look like this thing is still alive, or did it die with the?
It seems to. It is not moving. It's little, like the little red tendrils that it was using to attack. Just kind of follow it.
What about the other one?
Same thing. You can't see it, but
Oh, yeah. I tried.
who's that?
Uh,
Or what?
if
You still
Wensu?
need. So that's what I was trying to see if they're dead. Get off. One, two. 'Cause I can move.
Okay.
You move 6.
6, yeah. 6. Guess I'll move to here.
Weren't you here?
It's right
Here's
there.
up there.
So you can go.
1, 2,
You can go diagonal as well.
Right.
So
1,
1,
2,
2, 3.
5, 6.
That's
And then
my
you can
friend.
dash or whatever you want if you
Yeah.
Cunning
Actually,
action
yeah.
to dash.
Still not close enough.
want. You're closer than you were.
Protect the squishies.
It's like, I am squishy.
I am still squishy. Yeah, I'll stand
Not
there.
as squishy, they are.
Okay.
It's Lou and the bad guys simultaneous.
Okay.
All right, Lou. I'll let you go ahead and move or whatever. I mean, you're a long ways from where
Yeah.
they are, so.
So both of those buds are still alive?
They're not moving. That's what he said.
Oh, okay.
I have not you don't know one way or the other.
But the big one is dead?
Well, it's incapacitated at least.
I think I'm just gonna stay here, keep an eye on those guys. Just in
So the one creature that is still standing over there will move towards Winsu and attack, lashing out with its thorn-like claws, and will roll a natural 1. So just kind of like,
Gently caresses it. Gently caresses its back.
and
He's
has-
uncomfortable.
it doesn't hit you. It just kind of rushes forward and flails at you, but to no effect.
That's when I do that Bruce Lee action.
Tiny critters?
The little guys. The one that's here. Let's see what that one does. The one that's in the doorway there, just kind of looking around, kind of steps out and looks left and right. And you see him kind of looking at you, looks over and sees Liam, kind of looks over, sees the large flower over there, kind of looks back at you, and then quickly looks back over at the large flower and starts just chittering away like crazy. She did! She did!
Nish. Lou.
7.
Kalista.
19.
Wensu.
16.
Kara.
17.
Bad guys.
5.
Liam.
6.
Would we be at disadvantage on initiative?
No, not you.
Just attack rolls and skill checks, saving throws.
Callista's first.
I'm going to firebolt again the tree guy.
All right.
They're getting real sick of that. Watch out. I'm like, stop
You
saying
don't
that
have
so
disadvantage
much.
anymore because you recovered, right?
Yeah.
She rolled
but I
low
rolled-
though.
Yeah.
She won all of her rolls when she had disadvantage, and then now she doesn't have disadvantage. She rolled
I
it
got an
too.
8.
Okay, so you're like, and you send a firebolt off into the other room.
You're trying to curve it past
Yeah.
Wensu and you want it and just couldn't do it.
I said wanted to
Alright,
roll
Kara.
around and light me on fire.
Yeah, that's what I was worried about.
Where the fuck are you? You're way the hell back here.
Yeah. I was still back there from punching,
Check
but
out the other
You can go there and
ones.
kick a plant.
For realsies, make sure they're dead or not.
Break, stop, please.
all right. I'll come over to this one and would it take my action to nudge
Poke
it?
it with a stick.
Poke it with a stick or kind of
Yeah,
kick it?
to do a skill check of any kind. It's
Just punch it.
I'll just punch it just for good measure. How about that?
okay.
Does a 15 hit?
Yep.
And I take the one because it's free. 20.
Yep.
$13 points.
All right, so you punch it once, punch it the second time, and it's just like one of the petals kind of falls off.
All right. He's dead.
Good to know.
Oh, you can split up your movement, so you can still move the rest of your way.
Yeah,
Go punch
How
the
many
other
did I
one.
I
move?
think you moved what, 2?
Is it
Maybe
one?
one?
Just one.
2, 3,
I've been used to
You can
need
move
like 3
diagonal,
feet
so
to do
you
that.
don't have to.
2.
I'll attack the tree. It's in
Okay.
front of me.
No sneak attack, but
Yeah.
Natural
But I
20 though.
critted it.
Crit
Crit.
that son bitch.
natural 20.
So roll the dice, double the dice, then add your bonus.
Yeah,
So
8.
8
8 total.
Mm-hmm.
total. Yeah.
And it's only a D4 and you roll a 2, so.
All right, you stick your dagger in it and you just like stick it in there and it's twist and you hear some snapping and everything. Pull the dagger back out and it kind of leans at its side and just kind of glares at you. It's not quite dead though. Who's next?
I cast Acid Splash.
Okay.
DC 13, Dexterity saving throw. That was weird.
Yeah, she walked in a few minutes ago. You walked in a few minutes ago.
Lose turn.
Just kidding. Alright. So it doesn't seem hostile or any more hostile than they were before.
Now they seem scared. They might have broken something.
Aye, just enough. I'll bring my sword down. And also crit it.
Nice. This poor
Nice.
tree. Easily a plunging bag.
And a
11 points.
fireplace.
Yeah, I rolled a 3 on my dice.
An axe would have been a good weapon for this.
So you like run in there and you cleave down onto it and as it kind of looks and sees you coming, throws its arm up to try to block the attack and you just cleave through its arm and into its body and it just kind of like crumples onto the ground.
Yay.
No more tree men.
Are we still on initiative order? It's Liam next.
All right. At this point, the chittering continues through the lower portion of the tower, and you can hear chittering coming from that room where the 2 tree creatures just came from.
Alright. But they don't appear to be doing anything specific.
Yeah, they don't seem to be moving in to attack you or anything. These 2 move out, and those other 2 come out of their little niches by the stairs, and then let's see, 2 more come out of this room over here by the stairs, and the one over there by the stairs.
So if we were still on initiative order, it was Liam and then bad guys.
Okay, we're not to worry about that.
Okay.
And they're just kind of chittering back and forth at one another, and they're kind of looking at you expectingly, see what you guys are doing.
Okay.
So what are you guys doing?
I'm gonna go over to Tess. I'm gonna cast Prestidigitation to clean her up, to get the goop off of her, basically.
Okay.
The intestine stuff.
All right.
So that's my project.
I want to go over and administer like healing to her.
Okay. Like your lay on hands? Or
Um,
something along those lines? I don't know what.
yeah.
Or just a heal check.
I think I might just do a medicine check first and see what's
Okay.
going on.
Assess her situation.
10. Not really a great one, but
She doesn't seem to be getting any worse. She's not obviously not getting any better, but she seems to be stable in her current condition.
okay.
Meanwhile, what is the rest of you guys doing?
I want to go
Um,
towards this door and just kind of see what they do when I walk towards it.
It just kind of, as you start moving towards it, he crouches down with his spear and kind of circles away from you. He's like,
Away from the door.
well, mostly away from you, trying to keep a distance
Okay.
from you. And since it's in front of the door and you're walking towards the door,
Okay, so if he moves out of the way of the door, I want to go in.
but he just seems to be angrily chittering at you and kind of pokes his stick at you, but doesn't actually attack.
Okay.
I've seen Gremlins now, so there's a visual for me for this.
So I want to go inside this room.
All right, so you're going in there. What are you guys doing?
I'm gonna mention to Callus that you should. Sorry. I'm gonna mention to Callus that you should probably try that comprehend languages now to see if these guys are like what's going on. Now that we have time to actually comprehend the language.
Okay.
I also want you and Lou to make.
That's Wetsu.
Sorry, Winsu. Sorry. Calliste and Winsu to make perception checks.
I'll nod to her suggestion. I'm gonna finish with the thing I'm doing.
6.
22.
You see that there are 2 cages hanging from the ceiling in the next room, in that second room over
This
here.
room here? Can I tell what's in the cages or just the...
No, you don't have dark vision. It's really dark in there. All you kind of make out is like this light. You can see the cage. It looks like very much like bird cages. These cages kind of hanging in there, up about maybe 8 feet up off the ground.
So... I guess I could, I don't have a cool light thing like they do. I'm gonna light my hooded lantern.
Okay, so you start lighting up your lantern.
Yeah.
You poke your head into or you kind of walk into this room, and you got your drift globe kind of going with you, and you see the tattered remains of what looks like an old office. There's a desk that's kind of broken and battered, but it's kind of propped up and everything. Looks like they're using it as basically like a table. There is a chair. Again, it has been broken and put back together a few times. There's a door directly across from the door that you came in that is closed. It seems to be mostly intact, however. And there is a big, thick, rusted padlock on the door. It's got like a hasp that goes across it and just this big chunk of iron for a padlock. And then there are 2 bookshelves on basically opposite walls from one another to the left and the right that have been completely cleared out.
Does the desk have any drawers?
You walk around to the other side of the desk from where you're at, and you see that at one time it might have had drawers, but now they're just kind of empty slots. There's nothing. There you see bits of like leaves and debris that have been kind of stuffed in there.
Is that the same thing that would be on the floor too? Leaves and debris and just nothing of value.
Yeah, that you can readily see.
Okay.
Anyway.
Okay, once I've finished cleaning her off with the prestidigitation, I will start the ritual to cast comprehend languages.
Okay. You're gonna be at that for a little bit.
I am gonna use 1 point in my lay on hands to see if it helps her.
Okay.
So, yeah.
All right. Callista. These 2 are still kind of over the girl. What are you doing?
I'm going to kind of peek over where. I don't know if I want to go with Nancy or.
Do you want to try to interact with the humanoids that are there, that are like
I could
looking
try
at you and
speaking
pointing
common
and
with-
chittering and
I could try
carrying on?
speaking all of my languages at them and kind of see if any of them.
okay, which one do you want to try to communicate with?
This one.
So you just kind of move over there towards it and begin just kind of rattling off things in different languages. And with each language, it just kind of looks at you a little confused, looks back over at the one that's kind of off behind it a little bit. They kind of chitter back and forth at one another. Then he kind of chitters across to the other side.
Hey, you speak French? That's what they're doing. They're checking with their party member to see what
Yeah,
languages
they're
they
like
speak.
they don't seem to comprehend what you are saying.
Yeah.
But one of them just tries to kind of walks up, not hostily, but just kind of like basically puts a hand on your hip and tries to shove you back in this direction. And they all kind of start to kind of huddle around you, like they're trying to herd you back into that room.
You can tell. You can tell.
Okay, I'll go back into the room
Okay,
because I don't want to start a fight.
so all four of those guys are just kind of moving their way in
Now
that
get
direction.
yourself up in that cage.
Meanwhile,
Yeah.
Winsu, got your name right.
Yeah. Is my lantern lit now?
Yeah, you got your lantern lit.
It's lit.
Alright. So then I'm gonna walk
It's lit, fam.
into or up, peering into the room so far. See if I can see.
That room is just a complete shambles of what looks like the remains of what was once probably a really large like dining table, but it's now just like completely smashed apart and bits of wood and kindling all scattered around, along with bits of broken chairs. You see like bits of porcelain, like from like plates and vases and pitchers and stuff like that are just kind of decanters of various types, just a complete mess. But hanging in each of the one in each of these back corners, one over here and one over here, is a small cage, maybe about 4 feet in total height and maybe about 3 feet in diameter. It's just kind of like a made out of bits of vine and wood, just kind of woven into like this basket that kind of hangs above there. And you see these small creatures, very brightly colored creatures, about the same general size as the green creatures that you see outside that are chittering away, and they're just kind of looking at you. But they're very brightly colored, very flowery looking creatures. And one of them kind of looks and sees what's going on, and it kind of blinks its like large kind of luminescent blue eyes. It kind of creeps over to the bars and kind of peers through and says, "Are you friend or foe?"
Because I was about to say, I was about to ask them the same, the same thing. With this moment, we are not hostile.
And the other one is like, "Yes, this one is not hostile. It's a strange bird. We have seen birds before." And the other one's like, "Yes, it's been far, far too long since we have seen anything of Erythian origin."
Are you friends of the little green guys?
And they're like, "The children. Yes. They serve the master now, though. But if you are here, perhaps the master is gone." And the other one's like, "Yes. Perhaps you have slain the creature, freed us from our tormentor."
The flower?
And they just kind of look at one another. "Yes." Meanwhile, so she kind of stirs a little, but she's still unconscious.
Okay.
You get the idea that there's not much that's going to happen to her except for she needs rest.
Right. Okay. So I've heard voices coming from behind me.
Yes.
So I'm
and
gonna
you see these creatures are all kind of, after they hear things, they kind of start moving in that direction, trying to shuffle these guys. They leave the other one alone. She's gone off into the side room, but they try to push Liam back, and Liam just kind of moves over closer to his sister.
Come this way.
And then the other ones are trying to move her and trying to move. It seems like they're trying to move everyone into the room where Wince is at.
Okay.
And they're just kind of chittering away at you guys.
I guess I'll head in there.
Okay.
So
Well.
it's your turn.
Witsu knows he's not
I'm just gonna
diplomatic anyway, so he's gonna
move
get
next to Wensu,
lose attention.
but not set foot into the room yet. Do these creatures look like anything I've seen before?
No, they are strange. You can tell that they had the same basic eye shape and everything of these creatures that are out here, but these ones are a little bit thinner, with kind of a glowing blue eyes. They're kind of oversized and everything. And instead of having like the tendrils of vine-like hair or whatever, it's almost like petals pulled up into like a little ponytail, so it kind of opens up into like a little flower at the top of the back of the head. Their colorations are very vibrant and almost tropical in their overall appearance.
So I overheard you talking about a master. Who is this master you speak of? And why did they put you in these cages?
So that they can control the children. Keep us locked up. Enslave the others. And the other one's like, yes, they enslave our children. Make them work, toil, serve.
Do they sound like they're telling the truth?
Would you like to make an insight on that?
17?
They seem honest, and they are locked up in cages.
Or they could be desperate and gonna get out and kill you.
But they do seem to be
Genuine.
sincere.
One sounds very ill.
The other, they're like, is it late? Has the sun began to set? If it has, you are in grave danger to linger here. Yes, the weeping one, the All-Mother. She doesn't do well with the fleshies.
Babies!
I don't know
He's the
what-
one that killed her.
But
You push their dead bodies.
I had to make sure it was dead.
what time of day is it roughly?
We got here, what, shortly after
Maybe
evening?
1 in the afternoon at this point.
No, it's still midday.
Then there's time. Set us free, and we shall reward you. But you must leave. She will come down from the tower soon. After the sun sets. Yes, after the great orb goes below the horizon. She will come down, and she will be sad and angry.
So they sound like they're telling the truth. They seem friendly, if a little suspicious.
Has it been 10 minutes?
Almost.
Do you, or is the mother an enemy of you too?
No, we are her children. Yes, she claims us as her own, though she was born of the flesh, but now she is of the light.
So why does she keep you in the cage?
She does not see us any longer.
Okay.
She only sees the fleshed ones. And she hates them. She misses her husband, her mate.
We know this story.
And you complete your ritual. You hear the chittering slowly changes into a myriad of voices talking to one another. Most of them seem to be talking about basically in grateful, happy, like kind of chatter about, we're free. They killed it. We can go back to living our lives. While others are like, but we can't trust them. They're fleshies. The fleshies are always cruel. They always take, and they never give back. And then the others are like, but these ones are different. They haven't attacked us. And the other ones are like, but they haven't released the mother and father either.
I'm gonna stand up from casting my spell. Kind of look back at the one that I hissed at. What is that one's reaction when I look at him?
He's the one that's been mostly talking about how you guys aren't to be trusted. He just kind of looks at you. He's like, the scaled flesh one is looking at me again. Her breath is terrible.
Better than that flowers.
Comprehend languages doesn't let you speak the language.
Yeah, I say that in common.
Oh, okay.
I'll go over to where Wensu and Lou are at. So that's the mother and father, I'm guessing?
Mother and father? What do you mean?
They're talking about how we haven't let the mother and father out. In general, they're glad we killed the flower, but they're also suspicious that we're going to kill them next.
Well, at this point, I say let's free those two. How does it look like the cages are?
Did you want to? You can go ahead and
Yeah. How does it look like the cages are held up?
What are you doing? Because you're still over here.
They're just vines, is what he said. They're made out of vines and
I would have made my way back to
Wood,
see what everyone was
so.
doing.
Oh, okay.
And then, but I see them distracted. I want to tell Wensu about the room over here
With the big lock.
with the big lock, but I don't,
Alright.
but they're busy, so.
I'm going to look back at
Yeah,
Liam.
there's no locks or anything on these cages. They're just kind of woven together.
I want to ask Liam, have you seen any of these creatures in the swamp before?
No. Although I've heard of these kind of creatures. The locals called them bramble pygmies.
Are they evil?
No. They're not exactly friendly. They've never really come to the village. They tend to avoid everybody. At least that's from the stories that I've heard.
Yeah.
I have never seen one, and I don't know of anybody that's ever seen one in person.
I think it's fine. We should be able to let them down.
So I go up to that one and I'm gonna free it the best that I can.
You have a dagger or something. You can kind of cut through the vines and stuff. Cut some of the stuff away.
Gonna do the same on this one. Fine.
All right, so you wind up getting the cages down, and they are they're like the one that you guess is the father that seems to be sick is the one that you helped down, and he's like, "Thank you. As promised, I will ensure that you get a reward. I know the fleshies do not do much for kindness." And the other
I
one's
don't
like,
need anything.
"Thank you, avian friend." And she kind of looks at you. She looks up at you and she kind of smiles. She doesn't really have... She has teeth, but they're basically like little rose thorn type looking things that grow out of what would be her gums or whatever. She just kind of smiles. It's kind of intimidating, but she seems pleasant enough. She's like, "Do you also want reward? We've never seen a bird person before."
Only if you're,
Is it shiny?
is it a shiny reward? I like shiny things.
Yes, we have many shiny things that's left by the Great Mother. She doesn't need them anymore. She walks past all of her things that she once loved, doesn't see them. She doesn't see much of anything, except for, well, other fleshies. She's killed them all. All that would intervene themselves into her property, come too close to her home. It's not safe for you here.
I do not wish to die.
We hear her at times, upstairs, crying, weeping.
Is there any way to make her happy again?
We don't know. She doesn't see us.
Where is her mate now?
I don't know. I remember when he died, she and some other fleshies took his body away and took it someplace else. And then she came home and she was sad. She was sad for many, many years. And then she too died. But no one came for her. No one took her away. She still remains.
Upstairs?
Where did she die?
Last we saw, she was in her room, in her bed. When she was ill, that's where she stayed. And then she slept, but she never woke up.
Lou, you hear this?
So, do we know where the guy's body was buried? Was it in like the local cemetery, anything like that?
You can assume that, but you don't know for certain.
Okay.
Nobody's really asked any of those kinds of questions.
I could
around
ask
town.
Liam. His family's from around here.
Okay.
So I was, Liam. Hey, did when her husband died, where did they take his body?
Well, that was a really long time ago. But I would assume that they probably took them to the cemetery. I believe there's actually a family crypt that basically was theirs.
If we laid her to rest, would that help? You're the religious man.
Right? I was like, hold up, he's the paladin, right?
I don't.
The one that's basically been back here this whole time kind of walks up next to you, kind of looks at you, is like, kind of puffs up, and looks over at the others. I'd scared this one earlier. I could probably take her. And the other ones are like, wow, you are very brave. She is very dangerous looking.
I was looking at him like, motherfucker, please. And just like smile and keep paying attention to what's going on here because I don't want to burst this bubble. I'm reaching in and go, doo choo 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 choo.
Just hug him.
I know, right?
I mean, I would assume something like that would work, but I don't really have the...
Well, I mean, if we got her and took off we'd have to gather her remains.
What about the house? What's in the house? Is there any symbols of Kalmoria? Are there any Jesus crosses on the wall? Does she have a religion that's visible?
No, there's nothing down here. The only room that you guys have been in that had any kind of furniture that was even remotely intact, she's the only one that's seen it. Because everything you look at in here is just completely destroyed.
Okay. What about, are there any plant gods? Like nature worshipy things?
There's...
Hestra, that's his goddess.
Yeah, I'm a nature paladin.
Alright. Well, is it likely
Which is part of the reason why he probably doesn't know much about, like, burial rituals. I mean, he
What
might know
about-
a few
Crazy
druidic
stuff.
ones, but...
What about Hestra's religion? I mean, if she's a plant god,
Well,
nature.
nature god, does that religion have any final resting things? Could you put the spirit to rest by casting Bless?
I mean, I could try.
You want to try to make a religion check?
Yeah, I can.
Nice roll.
21.
Hestra does have a few different religious ceremonies and stuff that they go through for burial and stuff like that, but they're really not that much different than, say, for Kalmori or whatever. Human burials are not overly different. I mean, the biggest difference is sometimes people are either just buried in a hole, sometimes they're mummified and entombed, and then other times they're burned. Otherwise, that's pretty much it. Hestra's religion tends to have more of just a straight up kind of a burial, returning to the earth kind of idea.
Yeah.
So if it's a returning to the earth sort of thing for her religion, what if we buried her in the garden?
Well, we don't even know what her beliefs are.
No.
Yeah, because if her husband was buried in the family crypt, that is definitely not a in the garden kind of thing.
No, she would need to be. She's trying. Well, they're saying that she's upset because she can't find him.
So we need to take her to the crypt.
We need to take her remains. If we're going to be helpful, we're going to take her remains back with us to the crypt, but we got to get to the remains, and I'm just going to ask the female one here. You said she comes out at night. Is she still in her room during the day too, moving around, or you hear nothing during the day?
We haven't been out of these cages in so very long, but occasionally we hear her weeping during the day, but usually only really late in the day.
So if we hurry, we can gather her remains before she appears.
But will she appear with her remains if we get there too late?
Like, I don't think we have enough time. But we could still try, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
Or we go back and
Or
we
try
come
to-
back another day?
Well, regardless, it's like a half-day's journey to get to the island. So,
We're going to have her body at night one way or the other.
Yeah.
But for now, why don't we look through the place and see what we can find?
You said you had something.
I would come over and say, "Hey, Wensu, I found a room back there, and there's another room off of it, but there's a padlock.
Immediately interested.
Do you want me to show
Is
you?"
it?
Locks?
It's 12:30.
Oh shit! I'm sorry, guys.
Should we call it a... Or you want to keep
We'll
going?
finish up
up
this
there.
little bit here.
Locks?
Yeah, this way. So I'll go back this way, and I'll show him.
We'll be back.
show him the door.
All right,
Would
so,
these guys be like crowding the mother and father now, since they're out of the cages?
Or will they come out?
they basically are more keeping an eye on you guys.
Okay.
Make sure we don't
Because
hurt
some of
the
them are
mother
still
and father.
wary.
Yeah. Because if they stay near you guys and you guys go crazy, then they can attack you.
True.
No.
Okay, I'll show them here's the locked door.
All right, you make your way into the kind of ramshackle, emptied out study. Compared to the other room, this place is actually in really good shape. Much of what's in here has been repaired and repaired again over the years. But it seems like these little creatures have been using it for some reason or another. But that door does not appear that as though it has been opened. They haven't opened that particular door.
Alright. You said the lock is rusted?
Yeah, it's just a big rusty chunk of iron at this point. You can attempt to pick it if you like.
I'll go peek in the door. I want to watch what they're doing.
Well, I have some oil in a flask. I don't know if that would help. Pouring it
Sure.
over the lock to help with the rust before I start trying to pick the lock.
Okay, is that what you do?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you put some oil and stuff on it, and you go ahead and try to pick the lock. Your buddy kind of follows along next to you.
Peeking in.
Yeah, he peeks into it. He's like, kind of looks back at him. I don't know what they're doing. They're messing with that door. Thing's been locked forever. And they're like, maybe they're looking for treasure. And then you hear the mother and father is like, they have earned their rewards. Of course, they're talking in whatever language it is that they're using.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, and the one next to you is like, don't worry, I'll keep an eye on them. Kind of looks at you, puffs up its chest a little bit more.
He's flirting.
Pat it on the head.
Kind of looks at you like,
He's a kitty.
Just imitates it.
You wanna try pick the lock?
Yeah.
So thieves' tools is +2 to your dex.
right.
Yeah.
You have a +6.
So 6, yeah.
24.
24.
Nice. DC 20. So because it was like in bad shape, you brought it down from a 25 to a 24, or sorry to a 20 with the oil. But you're like, it's kind of, you can feel the tumblers. You kind of wiggle them around, letting the oil kind of work their way in there, and you finally like, and you hear it release, but you have to like jerk on the lock a few times to actually get it to like come loose. And you're like, and you finally get it off, and you're like, twist it around because it's all like, it's just like a huge chunk of rust.
Everybody turned into 3-year-olds.
Right, we're super mature. We're all like 9-year-olds over here. Like,
But you pull the lock off, and you pull back the hasp, and you pull open the door, and you look inside, and you see
darkness.
It's got
my globe. Okay.
globe. You see shelves. One that looks like it might be a bookshelf, and it's got some books and stuff all kind of lining up on the shelf and everything. With the very top row being a series of 5, kind of a vibrant green leather bound books with gold rune kind of leathering on the spine of them. Filigree, thank you. And then the rest of them seem to be just a varying mixed match of different books and everything. While the other one, this shelf, is just filled with various like pots, little glass beakers and vials, jugs. None of them appear to be labeled, but they are kind of like, got that kind of like dusty, mold, mildew covered glass and everything, like really old bottles that have just been sitting there for like ever in kind of a damp environment. But then what catches your eye is there seems to be a chest, an iron chest, rusty, but over in the far kind of corner of this like triangular shaped room. Otherwise, there doesn't appear to be much in here. With the door being closed and everything, there hasn't been any like the debris and stuff that hasn't really gotten in here. There's a little bit of like thin layer of kind of like dried mud from basically just the damp and of the swamp and everything, and then the dust and everything is just kind of caked into this kind of like a thin layer of dried mud.
Okay.
Kind of coats everything.
Oh. I look at her and gesture that there are books in this room.
Okay.
But I will move past her to come over to the chest. I'll set my lantern down. And you said it's rusty again?
Yeah, it has just been in here, and it's the area, the humidity and everything is just really battered this thing.
Is it a padlock or is it a built-in lock?
It's just a built-in lock.
Okay. I'm gonna I have another thing of oil, so I'm gonna do my oil trick again into the lock because if it's rusty.
Okay.
So, last thing of oil. I have to get some more. Probably. So
You have to use that much.
probably, I don't know. I know it's a lot of it's a
He
vial.
likes it sloppy. It's fine.
I also filled my lantern. All right, so I put some oil in there,
So,
and then start picking the lock.
Let's see what you got.
No,
What you get?
11.
11.
Oh, yeah, you're like messing with it, and it's like the tumblers just won't. They're just not moving.
want me to try? There might be more books in there.
Do you have thieves' tools?
Yeah. So 18.
You're messing with it, but like I told him, the tumblers inside are just frozen in place.
I could just drop a bunch of acid on it.
What about your knock spell?
I already used it up.
You don't have any more spells at
I
that
only
level.
get 2.
What's the second
You can
one?
pick full or
Web.
lock, can't you?
Oh, I don't think so. I don't have
You got
these
these
tools.
tools on
I
this?
don't have these tools.
Here. Jingle my these tools at her.
Huh? If anybody's got a crowbar or anything, you can just try to.
We're not that kind of
Basically
adventuring
pry it
party. I mean, we
open.
still left the grappling hook outside, so.
I have a crowbar.
Remind me to get that.
But who's stronger here?
Me.
I guess I'm gonna hand you the crowbar.
Get out of the road.
I guess you could call me over.
Yeah, I called Lou.
Yeah,
Hey,
everybody.
horses.
I'm assuming everybody's just kind of moving them together and kind of like a herd. You can just, you know how like the old steamer trunks or whatever has like a hasp that kind of goes over it, and there's like a lock in the center of it. You can just like try to pry
right.
that open.
I do have a crow. Oh,
It was almost a 12.
He has
What'd
a
you get?
crowbar.
6.
6? Yeah, you're just
Yeah.
like, and it pops right off.
No,
Pretty
it
good.
worked.
Okay.
I thought it was funny. I will think
What?
it's funny for
I
days.
got it.
I have a crowbar.
Oh. That is funny. Because you're a bird.
Because you're a bird.
You people got donkeys.
Right, yeah, you just, the
Alright.
hasp just pops. It's so rusted and weak at this point that it
Yeah.
doesn't take much to
Alright.
to break it.
So pop open the lid.
Pop, lock, and drop it.
All right, so you flip open the lid, and literally the only thing in here, nestled in a worn and just decrepit, mildewed blanket, is this chunk of green crystal, about 18 inches in length and about this big around. It's pointy on one end, kind of broken off on the other end, and it's just this green color, and it just kind of slightly glows and glistens.
Does it seem magical in nature?
You do give me a perception or investigation, whichever one.
Does it look like Tess's eyeballs? Her eyeballs?
Not quite that color green. This
It
is
would
more
be
of
a
a lime
15 for perception since it's my higher.
green. Looking at it, do you pick it up and kind of look it over, or are you just kind of trying to look at it where it is?
I want to just try and look at it where it is right now. I don't want to touch it yet.
Okay. You're looking at it, and you can't make out what it is, but you see like shimmers inside of it, like slight movement.
Okay.
Like something is not really like writhing or anything like that, but just kind of like slowly drifting through it.
Poke it with a stick.
But without picking it up, you can't get a really clear look at what it
Does it
might
look
actually
like-
be.
Like something would happen to me if I touched it. Is there any real?
I'm getting
What is
that-
it?
I'm getting that vibe from.
There's some kind of green crystal
was
in
it?
here. And there's something moving around in
Stephen
it.
King
It
touched that
kind of it looks
meteor
like.
in that short story, and we turned into the Moss Man. I remember. I think it was.
I wanna
that
go-
was Tales from the Crypt.
I want to go check it
Yeah.
out. Can I make a knowledge arcana check in it and see if it's going to explode if you touched it?
Sure.
24.
You don't know what it is, but you don't think whatever it does or whatever it is, you don't think that it's like activated just by touch.
Pretty sure
Okay.
it won't murder you.
So I pick it up and give it a more thorough look. Then.
All right, you pick it up and you kind of hold it up and you
Triple
kind of
dog
look into it and you just gaze into the crystal, and you see like little shimmering runes, kind of like drifting around in like little circles inside. Like there's like about 8 of these runes, like basically 8 circles, and these like little runes are just kind of drifting around and spinning around inside.
Oh, runes. Give me.
Alright. I pass it over to the wizard.
I can read the runes in it with my comprehend languages as long as I'm touching it. So
How long does the comprehend languages last?
1 hour.
Nice.
You're welcome.
All right, so you peer inside, and the runes aren't necessarily a language, like it doesn't make a sentence or anything like that, but they are some sort of conjuration spell contained within this crystal.
Is it an ongoing or does it need to be activated?
It would need to be activated.
Okay, so
Which
it's
would
not
be
the reason
a-
there's giant stuff here.
No.
Okay. It's used for summoning something.
Could it be?
Could it have summoned the plants? Or summoned something that made the plants?
Does it look like it's a one trick pony? Is it used up?
No, it doesn't appear to
So it
be
doesn't have
a
charges,
charge.
basically.
Yeah. Well, it might have. You don't know if it has charges, but if it does have charges, it'd basically be like a wand or whatever. It basically would regenerate those charges.
Okay. So there'd be no way to know. if
It's
charged.
not like it's not consumed like say a potion or a scroll.
Yeah. It's pretty cool. So I would say let's wrap it back up in something. I have a heavy cloak we could wrap it in if we want to take it with.
Yes.
Okay. So at this point, all you guys are kind of looking at this crystal and kind of deciding, okay, we're gonna take it with us and everything, and then you hear something, a slow whimpering moan at first, and then you hear a voice utter a single word, Martin, and that's where we'll end it for tonight.
Son of a bitch!